where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with TheTaxiCentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go! I have in my hand a League Cup winners' medal. I've got two of them. One was won by a Celtic star of the past, the other one by a Rangers star. Yep, it's David Provan and Craig Moore with me, Paul Cooney, here for Cup Final Special, the Premier Sports Cup, the Scottish League Cup Final, the first silverware of 2021-2022. Who's it going to go to? Is it Ange Postecoglou or David Gray's Hibs? Celtic or Hibs? You'll miss none of the action this afternoon. And first, with the team news, Davey, you've had a look at the Celtic lineup.
We've got mixed team news for Celtic, Paul. The great news for the Celtic supporters heading to Hampden right now is that Kyogo Furuhashi is deemed fit enough to start today. No James Forrest though for Celtic.
That's huge for Celtic to have Furuhashi, but no James Forrest. Craig, you've got the Hibs lineup. What's the news for them? They've got a couple of injury worries this week.
Well, they definitely did have a couple of injury worries leading into the Cup final. Chris Cadden and also Nisbet. The main news for me is that Nisbet has returned to fitness and will make that starting 11 for Hibs. Boyle is their hat-trick hero in the semi-final.
Yep, what a performance in the semi-final for them. They saw off Rangers, who were so keen. Yep, 7 points clear after yesterday. Celtic one game less than them, but Rangers 7 points clear. But today is about the Cup final. Let's go live to Hampden then. Which medal did you bring in there? Was that the 96, 97 one, just to check?
There was there 96, 97, and there was 2002, 2003 as well.
Okay, I see you got one of them there with you. And Davey, yours as well from
82, yeah, Old Firm Cup final. We beat Rangers 2-1 that day.
Joe, who's going to win it this afternoon? Well, let's find out the full team news. Joe Henry joins us. Good afternoon, Joe.
Good afternoon, guys. As you touched on there are 4 changes for the Celtic team today from the team that faced Ross County during the week. Montgomery, Beaton, Ralston and Scales all dropped to the bench with Roderick, Johnson, Taylor and Kyogo starting. So Celtic go with Hart in goals, Juranovic, Cameron, Carter-Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor. Turnbull, Roderick and McGregor in the middle, with Johnson, Abada and Kyogo spearheading that attack. On the bench, it's Bain, Scales, Beaton, McCarthy, Shaw, Montgomery, Ralston, Welsh and Moffat. Just the one change for Hibs, as Craig mentioned there. Cadden drops out with the injury. Murphy comes in to replace him. So from that 1-0 win over Dundee during the week, they are unchanged apart from that one. It's Macy in goals, McGinn, Porteous and Captain Hanlon. Murphy, Doyle, Hayes, Newell and Stevenson, with Campbell, Boyle and Nisbet up front. On the bench it's Dabrowski, Doig, Wright, Doidge, Gogic, Allen, McGregor, Scott and Cadden.
Joe, what does it look like at the moment at Hampden? They'll be coming in still fairly quiet, I suppose. 55 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very foggy, as you all know, but not to the extent of what we saw yesterday. I can't envisage it being an issue at all. But, you know, it is actually starting to fill up now. People are keen. I can see the displays on both sides. It looks like there are going to be impressive displays on each side of the stadium this afternoon. The COVID checks were actually the most stringent I've seen yet. When I was coming in today, they're asking for your COVID passport and your negative lateral flow. So, but I think everybody's by and large prepared for that. So I can see the trophy down below me. Unfortunately no medals with me here today, but I can see that trophy shining down there, and it'll be a really, really interesting afternoon to see who'll be lifting that come 5 o'clock if it doesn't go to extra time and penalties.
Joe, great to have you with us right throughout the afternoon. Joe Henry there with the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Davey, I saw a few guys heading to Hampden. We were a couple of miles from it, so they had the green and white scarf. I said, what do you think the score's going to be? And the guy said, I think we're going to be hammered. So I listened to the accent, and he was from Leith. It was an Edinburgh guy. He said, I can't believe we've sacked the manager.
Yeah.
So it's just one guy there, but cracking guy, Richard, on the way to the game, and that was his take.
I think he's speaking for a lot of Hibs fans, Paul. I mean, I was absolutely shocked when Hibs sacked Jack Ross. The timing, very, very questionable, particularly after such a good semi-final performance against Rangers. They're still within touching distance of the top 4. It was a savage decision for me, and I think it's one that will come back to haunt Hibs today. With all due respect to David Gray, is he going to command the authority of Jack Ross? I really don't think so.
Because he's not there long term. Tomorrow, probably, it's Sean Maloney. It seems one of the cruelest decisions. Football management's tough. Just ask Tommy Wright that, who
as well.
Didn't see out the game yesterday because of fog, and then that was the end of his career. But what do you feel for Jack Ross? You were just talking about him today.
Yeah, look, I agree with Davey. I think it was very, very harsh in terms of, I think overall he's done a fantastic job at Hibs. He's well respected. He knows his football. He's detailed. But it just shows you how brutal this business can be. Sometimes, clubs maybe don't want to be as patient as at times they probably need to be. So an opportunity for David Gray, and obviously Maloney looks like that he's going to be coming in. So
why is he not in today? Why is Sean Maloney not in the dugout today? Surely, if he's the new guy, you've got a better chance of getting a bounce.
Yep.
If Sean Maloney's in the dressing room today and in the dugout today, and not a caretaker.
Yeah. I just think that obviously that deal is not in order at this moment in time in terms of maybe backroom staff. So therefore, if that's not in place, then there's no way that was possible anyway. So that's what I'm hearing.
One of the big talking points is actually Tony Ralston. David,
Yeah.
do you feel for him that he's not playing? He's played so brilliantly for Celtic, not least the 97th minute the other night.
Yeah.
He's kept the championship going for them.
What I would say, Paul, is, and I think the improvement in Tony Ralston has been astonishing this season. I didn't think he was good enough to play for Celtic. I think this season he's proved he's a real competition for Josip Juranovic. A real kick in the teeth that he's on the bench today. But I think Tony Ralston has a problem in that until he proves he's a better player than Juranovic, I don't think he's going to play, because I think Ange Postecoglou has finally decided that Juranovic, and I would agree with him, has to play on the right side. He's not the same player on the left, where he can't throw in an early cross on his left side the way he can when he's coming off the right.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in having that natural balance, Davey, and you're right, the comfortable side of the field for Juranovic is the right. He can do it on the left, but nowhere near as effective. And even looking briefly yesterday at Rangers, Davey, when you had Patterson on the left-hand side, it's not natural, and therefore it affects the rhythm. So, look, tough test, but Ralston has been enormous this season. He really has. Not only has he come in and grown in stature, he's scored important goals for Celtic this season as well.
Celtic are Hart, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor. McGregor, the captain, looking to get his first trophy as skipper. Turnbull, Abada and Rogic, Johnstone and Kyogo. Would you have risked Kyogo? Look, you were not in the medical room, Craig, so it's difficult to say, but that kind of injury, I guess he must be 100%, otherwise would you risk him?
He must be 100%. Muscle injuries, from my experience, and I did have a few of them, Davey, is like, even when you think you're right, you need to take an extra week because you feel okay. So he has to be, in my opinion, 100%. It would be too big a risk to throw him into this game if he wasn't 100%.
Davey?
It's always a worry with a hamstring, Paul. You can think you're 100%. You can do all the explosive stuff in training and think it's fine, but you're never quite sure. It's always at the back of your mind. What I would say is, given the importance of the league games coming up, Ange Postecoglou must be sure in his mind, having spoken to the player, that he's okay.
Hard thing is, Paul, see, like I says, with that controlled environment of training, having to explode to go and chase that ball 10 yards, turn, pass it back, in terms of the rehabilitation side of things. In a game, you don't get that. It's just you have to do it, and it happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what can bring you undone. But hopefully for Celtic and Kyogo, that he is 100% and puts in a strong performance.
On the bench, Bain, Scales, Beaton, McCarthy, Shaw, Montgomery, Ralston, as we mentioned, Welsh and Moffat. And for Hibs, as we heard from Joe, Macy, the goalkeeper, McGinn, Porteous, Hanlon, the captain, Stevenson, Doyle, Hayes, Newell, Campbell, Boyle and Murphy, with obviously Nisbet up front, Boyle, White. You never know what you're going to get from Ryan Porteous, do you, Davy?
No, you don't. And, I'm sure David Gray will be taking him aside before the game and just stressing the importance of Hibs finishing the match with 11 players on the pitch. If Porteous loses the head and ends up red carded, as he has done in the past, Hibs have no chance. He's got to keep the head today.
He's got to control that aggression. For a defender, you need to have aggression, but it needs to be in a controlled manner. And Porteous, when he gets that right, he's a very, very good player. Unfortunately, he's let his team down at times with a sending off, but it's a side of his game that you can't take away. It's just experience. Hopefully, he does the right thing and gives himself and the team the best opportunity today.
Hibs in the semi-final seems a long time ago. That was just 3 weeks ago. They brought their A game, the best game by far of the year. Celtic 2 weeks ago brought their A game to Dundee United. If they both played that, is that possible, Davey?
I hope so. I really do, and I hope Hibs bring that performance, because I think it's going to be a classic if Hibs play as well as they did against Rangers. A lot of teams, dare I say, bottle it when they arrive at Hampden and they're playing one of the old firm sides. Hibs didn't do that against Rangers. If they can find a similar performance today, they've got a great chance. Slightly surprised that he's changed the shape of his side. I mean, against Rangers, it was Martin Boyle and Nisbet playing almost in the channels with Campbell off them. Today he's gone with width, and it might be to contain Celtic's fullbacks. He's gone with both Murphy and Boyle either side of Nisbet, and I think that's probably in an attempt to stop Celtic's fullbacks getting forward.
And also the opportunity for transition, because that's pace, Davey. And I think, the way that Celtic like to play, they like to overwhelm their opponents. They're pressing, they're high. So I think in transition, that's where Hibs will be looking to try and hurt Celtic, and probably why the change of formation and personnel slightly is in place.
That's Craig Moore, Davy Prov and Paul Cooney and Joe Henry with you all afternoon here on the Go Radio Football Show. It's on Premier Sports this afternoon, so you can always have it turned down, much as we enjoy many of their broadcasters and work with me. I see Big John Hartson's on. They're just looking at Joe Hart there, the ex-Man City goalkeeper. Man City are 1-up already against Newcastle. Your old pals, Eddie Howe there. And Eddie Who. And it's Ruben. That's cheap, I shouldn't. No, not really. He led us all a merry dance all summer, didn't he? He was going to come to Glasgow and he didn't. But Ruben Diaz, the scorer. So England decimated, Davy. Just that
it's a worry,
Arsenal
isn't
game.
it? It really is a worry. But, I would repeat the message to all the players: get vaccinated, for heaven's sake. I'm hearing this morning that 90% of the people in the hospital are unvaccinated. Get vaccinated. We need those beds. And to every player, if you want your industry to continue with any success at all through this, go and get your jag.
See, and Klopp also has come out in terms of any potential signings to come to Liverpool Football Club need to be vaccinated.
I get that completely.
He's talking great sense.
He is, and I'm a booster as well just the other day.
Good.
So
you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm great, but it's the right thing to do. It really is, and definitely we need it done at all football clubs, because we don't want to see the game being stopped.
We're on the socials as well at the Go Radio Football Show, at Go Radio Football. And Julia's been on there. She's on the way to the game with Caitlin and with Matt, and they reckon 3-1 Celtic. So not keeping the zero, which is one of the new phrases, which Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, 7 points clear at the top after. Yeah, it was a kind of, I see they said insipid, kind of flat performance. Were you at the match, caller?
No, no, I wasn't. But Giovanni was spot on in terms of his summary of the game. Yep. It's the worst performance that he's had in his time under Rangers. It was a real grind. But at the same time, I think you've got to pay a lot of credit to Dundee United. Tam Courts, it was a team that was decimated. It really was. But I tell you what, they come in and put a wonderful performance together. Were very well organised and made it a really tough afternoon for Rangers.
Davey,
I think maybe the Rangers players had a look at the Dundee United team sheet yesterday and thought, we've just got to turn up here. It's ours.
Yep.
Maybe taking their eye off the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and possibly. And like I said, I'm a big believer in having the right balance. And there's also pressure on Giovanni to involve Nathan Patterson. Yeah. Because, the situation.
Work? Do you feel that worked?
It didn't work.
Right.
It didn't work. As a left-sided, to be fair, he's honest and trying his best, but it wasn't natural to him. And therefore, it was probably something that didn't work.
We talk about it so much, don't we, about Nathan Patterson. We will speak about it during the day today. There's so much on the go yesterday. Tommy Wright was sacked, your old club, Davey, at Kilmarnock. last weekend, obviously they'd fallen out the top four. They were in 5th position. They have the budget for the Premiership.
They have, yeah.
They had to come back. So
I think that's why Billy Bowie has pulled the trigger here, Paul. He's invested a lot of money. They've got a Premier League budget, a Premiership budget. In this division, they have to come straight back up. And I think, looking at the recent results, I think there's enough concern over the recent results to understand where Billy Bowie is coming from here. And I think it's going to be a great job for somebody. Terrific club, great facilities. He won't be short of candidates, Billy Bowie, that's for sure.
you must have got Kilmarnock's record transfer at the time when you went to Celtic.
Yeah, when I went to Celtic, yeah.
So if you were the man with the cash there in charge, who would you go for
Derek
as manager?
McInnes. I'd be on the phone to Derek McInnes. Now, whether Derek would take it, I don't know. Maybe he thinks that there's a bigger job awaiting him. But if Billy Bowie could tempt Derek McInnes, I think it would be a great appointment for Killie.
Craig Moore?
Yeah, Derek McInnes is a fantastic shout. The key thing is, as Davey, you touch on there, is that a job that Derek McInnes will look at and feel as if that excites him? I mean, it's a great project. Look, Killie are not on a great run. They lost 4 out of the last 5 games, but they're still only 5 points off the top of the league. And they should be in a position where promotion, getting back into the Premier League, that might be something that excites a Derek McInnes.
Or do you go for a really successful manager, great track record, still got plenty of years in him, Dick Campbell?
I'll tell you what, Paul. I'll tell you what, he's a miracle worker. Yeah. And that's not a bad shout either. I mean, I don't know whether Dick would want to go full-time again, but he's had so much success with part-time clubs. And to have Arbroath sitting top of the Championship right now is Manager of the Year material for me.
Isn't it phenomenal? Arbroath on 34 points, just ahead of Inverness on 34. Then Wraith Rovers on 33. The Jags on 31. They got that win yesterday, which was good news for them. Kilmarnock on 29. Craig, stranger things have happened, but it's Cup Final Sunday. Special Cup Final Sunday. We've got Super Sunday in, is that 2 weeks' time? Yeah. Christmas is, 6 days away. Then the following week, it's going to be Judgment Day. Or is it? There's 7 points in it. If it stays at 4, it's going to be quite some day. The 2nd of January. So much to play for between now and then, Craig, isn't there?
Yeah, look, it's a hectic schedule. It really is. But that's what we love this time of year. We love it. The players, like I said, it's tough work, isn't it? A lot of games, heavy legs, and mentally need to be really, really strong. But really looking forward to, not only the games, the Cup Final today, but Judgment Day, as you touch on, just before the break. It should be a hot one.
Thanks for bringing in that cup medal which you won. When was yours? 96, 97, yeah?
Yes.
And the game, I know you're not
it was against Hearts,
yeah.
4-3, and look, I'll never forget
You
it.
lost 3 goals and won the cup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Started the game, Davey. I started the game in midfield and ended up getting shifted to the right full-back position, which I didn't love. And I met on that day an absolute red-hot Neil McCann playing for Hearts that caused me all sorts of problems. But I showed him the medal after the match, and it was a winner's medal.
And would you swap the medal today? For example, my question was going to be this, as a Rangers legend. If we said to you, you can have the cup final or you can have the 7 points clear of Celtic, what would you go for? I mean, it's not an exact thing because there's a long way to go, half the season. But that's 7 points that Rangers have now. Celtic have got a game in hand, or a cup final today. I think I know the answer, but...
Do you? Okay, well,
I don't.
Listen,
in fact, you know what? After the break, we'll come to you for that.
Okay.
Have a think about it because I don't know the answer.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Don't miss out on huge savings on your new taxi. Available exclusively to the taxi trade.
Let's go! Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. A very special Sunday afternoon. It's the first silverware of the season up for grabs. Is it going to be, well, it's going to be in green and white. Is it the green and white of Hibs? Slightly darker, Davey, isn't it, than the Celtic green?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is a wee bit, yeah.
Not being a seller of scarves, you're maybe not exactly sure of the actual hue of that. It's going to be Hibs or Celtic. Live at Hampden, Joe Henry with the teams. And the latest news, what's going on there, Joe, as it builds up to kick-off?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big story here, and everybody was wondering about Kyogo, and is he going to start? And as we all know now, he is going to start. Ange Postecoglou, in the last few minutes, has said that Kyogo trained yesterday and he's ready to go. He did not want to miss this match, so sounds like they've given him every opportunity to be ready for this and given him to the last minute as well. I think, obviously, Anthony Ralston is very, very popular amongst the Celtic fans at the minute, and maybe a bit of disappointment there that Anthony isn't starting today, but he is on the bench. Obviously that incredible moment during the week for Anthony. But another man who is starting today, another popular figure amongst the Celtic fans, is Tom Rogic. And, obviously he's got history here at Hampden as well, with late goals and cup finals. So it's actually, he stands to make his 250th appearance for the club today. And in terms of Hibs, interestingly, Sean Maloney is in the stand, I'm fairly sure, just beneath me. So that is interesting as well. So lots going on, and we're looking forward to a really exciting afternoon. But yeah, lots of big talking points today.
Thanks, Joe, keeping us right up to date. First of all,
Sean Maloney's not there unless it's a done deal, Paul. And in which case, I have to ask the question again: why is he not in the dressing room? Why is he not in the dugout? Would that not have had more of an impact, on Cup final day than him sitting in the stand? I don't get it.
And would it be affected by the fact it didn't work with Rangers? GVB was there, but didn't go in, so it doesn't make sense, Craig, does it? I mean, we're not being wise after the event. We said on that day, the three of us, and you both said, at half time, if it's 0-0, it's what we thought. Or Hibs are ahead. I remember saying that. We didn't know it was going to be 3-1. He'll be down there.
And again, it's a valid question. Obviously, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but if it was a done deal and although all the smaller details had been sorted out, he should be in that dugout because we've seen the impact, or the let's say there wasn't the impact of Giovanni being in the stand, and what a really poor performance Rangers put in that day. You can't influence it from the stand.
You're right about Kyogo. I love the insight we get from the top pros like yourselves, and obviously the manager was saying that, Davey, listen, he trained yesterday, he was good, he is ready to go.
I think if we're talking about a young boy here, Paul, I think a young boy might be tempted to gamble with his own fitness because it's a cup final. Kyogo's he's an international player, he's a seasoned professional. He will know the importance of the league games coming up. So I think it's a case of, I think this will be the player's decision. I think Ange would have said to him, look, it's your call, it's your body, you know your own body, and you should know whether you're fit enough to start today or not.
Yeah, and again, obviously there would have been a lot of discussion with the medics, the physios, and what have you, to make sure that there was no risk, because the way that Kyogo plays, he's high energy with and without the ball. So we'll see very, very early doors whether or not he is 100%. But in my opinion, he needs to be there. The only concern, like I said, is that controlled drills and all that sort of stuff that you do after coming back from injury. It's controlled.
Not the same, is it?
It's controlled. You go out there in a game and you can't think it just happens. And that, at times, I've seen it and I've been involved, and it's happened to myself. It can bring you undone.
You mentioned your cup final medal, and I'm going to ask you if you would swap today if you had the choice. In fact, let's ask you now then. So would you take the 7 points lead over Celtic, or would you take a cup final place today?
I would take the 7 point lead, and for me the league that's a business. Winning titles, winning the league, the best team over the season. Cups are wonderful additions, and at big clubs like Rangers and Celtic are very, very important to the clubs. But I've got to be honest, I would take the 7 points, Paul.
Davey?
Yeah. I think the league is the be all and end all, particularly this season when there's so much money on the line. An automatic place in the group stages of the Champions League. The league is just so important this season. I'm not taking anything away from the occasion we've got today. I hope this is a fabulous game. Obviously there's silverware, there's a winner's medal, but I think the league is the top boy this season.
They'll be watching it all over the world as well, won't they? Listening here on the Go Radio Football Show, on the web, but also seeing the pictures everywhere. Obviously a big interest in Japan with Kyogo.
Massive interest in Australia.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you.
Tom Rogic and Martin Boyle.
Yeah, and this man that I've just seen on the television behind me, Ange Postecoglou. He has a huge following in Australia. Can the Wizard of Oz, Tom Rogic, help Ange Postecoglou to his first major silverware in this country?
What's the time difference at the moment? Is it 9 hours?
9-10 hours.
So they'll be kicking off at just about midnight in Australia.
Not a bad time. Yeah, there'll be a few beers had, I'm sure. Celtic supporters clubs.
I was telling Paul when I was out in Sydney, Craig. They were telling me about we had just won the cup. I flew out to play for Sydney Olympic, and they were telling me that they had like 400 people in the Celtic Supporters Club in Sydney at midnight. The Scottish Cup final kicked off at midnight. And you know, you're running out of the Scottish Cup final, you forget just how many people are watching you from all over the world.
And America, you touch on, you know, Japan obviously with Kyogo and what have you. But Australia's massive. David, see the amount of Rangers and Celtic supporters clubs that never miss a minute. And it's sometimes at silly o'clock, but their commitment, their passion for their football clubs is still there. It's fantastic.
Amazing. That's Craig Moore, Davy Provan, Paul Cooney on Cup Final Special. Who is going to win it this afternoon? It'll go to the 90 minutes or extra time or penalties. Do we think it'll go all the way? Well, you'll find out here in the Go Radio Football Show. We're just mentioning there they'll be watching, so they'll be delighted in Japan that Kyogo's there. In Australia, proud of the two players, one from each side, and the manager. But they'll be bealing in Bells Hill that Tony Ralston has scored that 97th minute goal. And when we mentioned the title race, it is the 40 million title this year. And Davey, we'll find out, you know, in a few months' time, is that a crucial moment in the campaign?
I'm sure every point is going to count. I would imagine that, and Craig knows Ange Postecoglou much better than I do, but I would imagine he would have taken Tony Ralston aside and explained his decision. I don't see Ange Postecoglou turning up at Hampden today, reading that team out, without having told Tony Ralston, look, sorry about this, but you're on the bench.
You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Go on.
He doesn't communicate like that with the players. No.
You're right, he's just read the team out.
Unless he changed. Remember Mark Milligan? Mark Milligan, that was at Hibs and all that sort of stuff. He was a Australian national team captain at times, and it was during the Asian Cup, and was having a chat with Millsy. He'd worked with Ange at club level and then at national team level, and he says, Maury says completely different. Like, you know, at club level he was talking to me and giving me donuts with the national team, you know, and that was when he needed him, or at times when he was left out, he didn't communicate with the player. So it'd be interesting to see how he's actually handled that here.
Interesting.
One or two managers like that. Capello was like that. Capello wouldn't name his team until just when he had to name it. Right up against the clock, he would name his team. Players didn't have a clue. Now, you could say that's unusual because you've got to work in set pieces, but he would work in various drills and training. Players wouldn't know who was playing until just before kick-off. Stuart, who's producing today, has been giving us some great stats, and he tells me that it's Tom Rodgick's 250th appearance for Celtic today. I also saw it on the telly there, but he has given me, to tell the truth, he gave you donuts. You said you would bring in something for the cup final. I take it you've brought something special. What have you brought? I know we're all health specialists here, Davey and I, but what did you bring?
We got some nice cakes in the background there.
Couple of tinnies,
couple of tinnies there.
Sounds as though we started early. Joe is going to give us the full lineups again here on Go Radio, the cup final special. Joe.
Hello, yes, 4 changes for Celtic today. We have Montgomery, Beaton, Ralston and Scales on the bench. Rodgick, Johnson, Taylor and Kyogo starting. Celtic go with Hart in goals. Juranovic, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor. Turnbull, Rodgick and McGregor in the middle with Johnson, Abada and Kyogo up front. Just the one change for Hibs today. Cadden drops to the bench and Murphy replaces him. Hibs go with Macy in goals. McGinn, Porteous, Hanlon, Murphy, Doyle, Hayes, Newell, Stevenson, Campbell, Boyle and Nisbet made it. He is up front today.
Joe Henry live at Hampden as they're warming up now. Joe, I can see if the pictures are live. Celtic there, he's given us the lineup up against Hibs this afternoon. Good conditions for a game today, David Kennedy. You like?
A wet surface, Paul. The pitch will play really quick. That will suit the ball players, and it's great to see the stadium filling up. You know, despite the strange advice that supporters were given this week, it's great to see them turning up. Hopefully, there's not an empty seat by kick-off.
Yeah, people's good common sense is what will bring us through this, Craig.
Brilliant cup final. You want to see, you want to see a full stadium. I think that, for the players, that's what they want to be involved in, and we're seeing them going through their last actions. Great surface, wet conditions. It's going to be slick. It's going to be fast. It's going to be a really good cup final, I'm hoping.
Man City are 2 up now. It's Cancelo, the scorer, against Newcastle. Going to be tough.
To motor now, aren't they, Man City?
Aren't they? Yep.
My tips, may I remind you?
Yeah,
Chelsea
flying.
Not so. Chelsea, it's 0-0 with Wolves. Did I tell you that Wolves thought they'd scored, but it was chopped off just about 10 minutes ago. Referee today, John Beaton. So big, prestigious game to get. Craig, what do you think of John Beaton?
Hopefully we're not talking about the referee after the game. We're just talking about a great cup final, and the best team has gone on and lifted the trophy. But, the referee does has an important role to play in any match. And like I said, when you're not talking about the referee after the game, that tells you that he's had a good match. Hopefully that's the case.
Davey?
Well, you just hope he gets the big calls right, Paul. They're not going to get all the calls right over 90 minutes, but you hope they get the important ones. And until we get VAR in, and for heaven's sake, they've got to move on this and get the wheels in motion to bring VAR in. Until that happens, referees, when they do make a mistake, they're going to be absolutely slaughtered, and it's not a pleasant sight, particularly on a big occasion like this. You hope the referee has a right good game.
And Davey, I think we touched on it, or I might have been with someone else, I'm not sure, but full-time referees, you're obviously a big supporter and fan of that, as well as you can't bring, for me, VAR without having 3 or 4 professional referees.
I think you're right, yeah. I mean, every improvement counts, and we've just had far too many controversial incidents. And I just don't know who at the moment would want to referee an Old Firm game. Where you could make a mistake and you've got to live with it for months.
And again, you brought a really good point up earlier on about the importance of winning the league title and how much money that means to any one of the 2 football clubs. So that also puts a lot of pressure on the referees. Yeah. You're right. Every match, every point, every moment is so important this season.
Sure is. David Gray, well, he knows all about winning the cup here at Hampden just 5 years ago. He hung up his boots last year. Hibs legend. He is in charge at Hibs, up against Ange Postecoglou. It would be his first trophy. Well, in Europe, wouldn't it, Craig? He came in the summer. We didn't know much about him at all, but we do now. And his captain, Callum McGregor, it was following. Scott Brown was never going to be easy, but he has done brilliantly. We've been speaking to him ahead of the final.
It would be a huge moment. We're not even thinking about that yet. All we're doing is trying to prepare for the game. Like I said, stay calm, approach the game in the same manner that we have done, throughout the start of the season. We're always just trying to get better as a squad. So if that comes on Sunday, then it'll be a huge moment. But, for the time being, I'm fully focused on doing my job. And
he seems calm, Davey. That's one of his hallmarks.
Yeah, there's a real assurance about him. And why shouldn't there be? When you look at his record, both with Celtic and Scotland, he's a seasoned Champions League player. And before this game starts, the worst you're going to get from Callum McGregor is 7 out of 10. You might get 9 or 10 even, but the worst you're going to get is 7 out of 10.
He's brilliant. He's for me, since that armband has gone on this season, I think he's improved again. His game's gone to a different level. 14 trophies he's already won at the age of 28, and opportunity as the first time as a captain to lift silverware. We touch on Ange Postecoglou is also a great opportunity. Celtic supporters wanted quick success, maybe surprised about how quick he's kind of turned things around, and it's a wonderful opportunity for him to lift his first bit of silverware.
Lots of people on the socials. We're also on at Go Football Show. On the socials, apparently Christopher Jullien has sent a good luck message to Celtic, and Moussa Dembele has also sent it to the team that he did so well with. Davey was one of the crack signings of the last 6-7 years.
What a piece of business. £500,000 from Fulham. And what did they sell him for? Was it 20 or 25?
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, it was over 20, wasn't it?
Terrific piece of business. And when you look at some of the transfers that Celtic have done over the years, particularly when John Park was there, that is the model, isn't it? You bring them in, you get them cheap, and you sell them for. First of all, you get 2 or 3 minimum out of them seasons. You get your money's worth out of them, and then you take the profit.
And you mentioned John Park there, the role that he played at that time at Celtic Football Club. You mentioned Dembele there. Key was another one. No, was that Wanyama?
Oh, Victor.
Van Dijk.
Yep. And Van Dijk. Wow. The biggest ever, probably. Yeah.
That's a great business model.
Is he the greatest defender in the world? We don't have time today because it's the Cup Final special. And yesterday in the Cinch Premiership, Hearts getting the points at Dundee. Walker the scorer after 75 minutes. Ross County were leading until late. Canchola had scored in just before half-time, and then it was Obalai who scored with a minute to go. Big point for Livy. A Motherwell 2-goal victory against St Johnstone. Dean Cornelius, his first goal for the club. He's a lifelong in his short life. Wasn't it? I saw it, chested it and scored. And then Van Veen the second. And Rangers, as we mentioned, Tavernier penalty in 71 minutes. Rangers top of the table. What about St Johnstone? There's not going to be enough time today to talk about them. Are you beginning to worry, Davy?
Well, of course. You know, they're in a relegation scrap already. Hard to believe that, having won both cups last season, they're in the mess they're in. Because basically it's the same squad of players. So you wonder why Callum, having got so much out of them last season, can't get a tune out of them at the moment. But what I would say is that I think they've got the right people in charge up there. I don't think there'll be any knee-jerk reaction. Steve Brown took over from his dad, Jeff, and I think they are certainly the type, and particularly given Callum's history with the club, you know, having signed there as a kid, made the club a lot of money by being transferred to Blackburn at the time. I think they will give him every opportunity to turn it round.
And deserves that. You know, you're talking about the season that he had last season was incredible to lift 2 cups, and they're in a sticky spell at the moment. You know, Kane's obviously missing due to COVID. Unfortunately,
he's a big miss.
Big miss.
Yeah, huge miss.
Big miss. But at the same time, St Johnstone are still a competitive side with some really good talent there. And I see them climbing the ladder. Do they do something in January? Because they've lost some really... They lost a couple of players at the start of the season.
Just before, as the window closed.
Correct.
You know?
Really important players.
Yep.
I think the worry also is that Ross County, I think, have turned the corner.
Yep.
A few weeks ago, St Johnstone must have been thinking, well, Ross County, they're going to finish bottom. I don't think that's a certainty now. Malky's got them playing again.
19 minutes away from the cup final. I just see the pictures there. You see Kevin Nisbet. He's fit today. He's playing for Hibs. He's a Scotland striker. Will he play a big part today? Is this the day that he'll be written into the history books? Or for Celtic, Kyogo is there. Johnson is there as well. Callum McGregor, will he pick up the trophy as captain for the first time? Or will they be asking later, why is Kevin Nisbet not a Celtic player? For, you know, one who is signed for the future. So much to look forward to and talk about this afternoon.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go! Go Radio Football Show, the Cup Final special with the Taxi Centre. Celtic against Hibs coming up in 15 minutes' time. Joe Henry live at the National Stadium. Headlines for Celtic: Kyogo is fit and starts, and so too is Mikey Johnson. And for Hibs, Chris Cadden is on the bench. He's fit. Kevin Nisbet, the Scotland striker, is on from the start. Well, it's going to be some afternoon. Davey, what do you think for this game? What do you reckon? I know you're hoping to see a good open match.
I think Celtic will win the game, Paul. You know, they've won their last 7. I don't think Celtic are at their best just now. I don't think they're convincing. I just think Hampden and cup finals, there's something in the club's DNA that I think will get them over the line today. What I would say is, if Hibs play as well as they did against Rangers, it's going to be a fabulous... Hibs are capable of winning today. It depends what they bring to Hampden.
Yeah, and like, I mean, if Hibs can get to half-time and still be in this game, then this will go to the wire. Yeah. And people might laugh because, you know, Hibs burst out of the blocks against Rangers and after 30 minutes were 3-0 up. But I just don't see that type of game here today. But Hibs' best chance, if they can get to half-time and they're still in this match, then they've got every chance, Davey, I agree.
Key players to look out for, Davey, then? Who are the controlling influences for Hibs, for example, to make it difficult for Celtic?
Well, Martin Boyle's the obvious one, Paul. I mean, he destroyed Rangers on his own. And, you know, if he's on song today, he'll be a major danger. Kevin Nisbet, I think, is back to, if not his best, something like his best. Jamie Murphy, another one who can eliminate defenders. I would argue Hibs have got the better front players.
Yep.
I would say Hibs have got the better front players today going into this game.
Even with Kyogo?
Yeah. I mean, Kyogo obviously is a huge danger to Hibs. Is he? I know that he's saying he's physically fit. Is he match fit? I'm not sure he'll be as sharp as he would have been had he gone into this off the back of a run of games.
Of course. Yeah. And Mikey Johnson hasn't had a lot of game time.
He hasn't. He's done well, Paul.
Yep.
He's done well. And it's good that he's getting his chance today in the cup final, because this might be the day he announces himself, if you like, because his career has been stop, start. He's 22 now. This is the time. This is his time. It's a huge season for him, and it's a huge game for him today.
Could be a big day for Leo Labada as well, Craig. He started the season well, hasn't done badly, but has shaded a bit.
Yeah, and again, I thought, you know, a lot of Celtic supporters have probably dropped off in terms of, you know, the original, when he first come in, you know, young lad, hit the ground running, was scoring goals, taking up really good positions. I think he's actually done a good job. And like any younger player, there can be a little dip at times, but He's certainly strong. The great thing for me when you look at a cup final and you're looking at both squads, Jota misses out, unfortunately, but both squads have virtually got, at full strength players to call from. And I think that's great because you don't want to see players missing out on that big opportunity, that big stage.
Doig, are you surprised that Doig's on the bench?
Doig on the bench. Again, I think defensively, he's probably not unbelievable. Davey, he's got good experience now for a young lad. I think that's an area of his game that he will improve upon, and he has a great future ahead of him. But that's maybe the reason. I think the real battle is we're speaking about Kyogo and the talent, and we know the way that he plays and his work rate, his energy. So for me, Porteous and Hanlon today for Hibs, their role is crucial in terms of any success.
And Hanlon, I think, was arguably, and sounds ridiculous to say it when Martin Boyle scored a hat-trick, but Hanlon was immense that day. Booked after the first minute of the game he was booked?
Yes.
So he's walking on eggshells, but what a performance he put in that day.
Yeah, if they're red hot today, then they give Hibs a great chance.
First cup final then for both of them in the dugout. David Gray, stand-in boss just for 3. This is his last game. Sean Maloney is in the stand. Joe has told us already. Here's Ange Postecoglou speaking about the game.
It's an opportunity for this club to win a trophy and get some silverware, and particularly after last year, it's something that we want to get back to doing as a football club, and this is our first opportunity, and hopefully we'll give a good account of ourselves and take it. The reality of it is a big game. You can't ignore that fact. You can't go into it and just say it's another game. It's not. So you want the players prepared for that. As you said, with our schedule the way it was, and I just thought with the challenges we've had in the recent weeks, around injuries and players available, it definitely, for our preparation, it was in our best interest to just get the players focused on what the next game, the next challenge was. And, they've handled that really well, culminating in the other night where we won a game of football, against the odds in terms of the circumstances on the night. And, that gives them a positive feeling, and now we can sort of concentrate on the game ahead.
And David Gray, about it's his only cup final so far as manager.
I've not really had time to think about it, to be honest. It's great now that we know exactly what's happening. I think that's important for the players, just to make sure that I've got that clarity. The attention now changes to the cup final. I know as a coaching staff, our attention has been on the foreseeable future. That was been the plan moving forward, which was just a game at a time, a day at a time. And we weren't looking towards any cup finals or anything. That was the message. But since this morning, having spoken to Ben, and whilst they conclude the process of finding our manager, we'll be in charge taking the team. So for the cup final, and it's something that we now attention changes to that.
A few managerial phrases in there already, David.
Yeah.
He's practiced in it, but he was a great player, a really good player, great servant for that club.
Terrific. It's a strange position to be in. Sean Maloney up in the stand. And David Gray knows that he's out after today. It's a strange one. And I go back at the risk of repeating myself. For me, Sean Maloney should be in charge today.
David Gray, for me, reminds me his position today, like that young player that breaks into the first team where you can be a little bit fearless. He's got an opportunity to make a real name for himself. He knows that he's not going to be the manager, the next manager at Hibs. So he's got nothing to lose. Ange Postecoglou, what I can tell you, in Australia that they have a final series, so I've seen him in one-off games, also in the Asian Cup one-off finals. They're always entertaining. There's always been late drama, but he's got a very good record.
What's going to be the scoreline today then for you, Craig? What do you think?
I think it's going to be 1-1 in normal time, but I think we're going to see extra time.
And then?
And then maybe I've got a little bit more time to think about what's going to happen, whether it goes to penalties. But I think if it goes to extra time, it can go either way. Obviously.
Let me check with the referee. Are you allowed not to? That is. How strong is this fence that he's sitting on at the moment? Come on, Craig. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, I did say the other day that if it's tight and Hibs can stay in the game long enough, I believe they can go and sneak this.
All right. So you think Hibs are going to win it?
Yep.
If pushed?
Yes.
Which we are.
You push me. Yeah, I'm out the
Think
back door.
Hibs
You
will win
push me
it.
out the yeah. I'll go Hibs.
I think Celtic will get it done. I think the players will be desperate to do it for Postecoglou. Given the challenge he faced when he arrived in the summer, I think the players are aware he's done a terrific job keeping the team in touch at the top of the table. And what a chance to win silverware after just a few months at the club. I think the players will get him over the line today, yeah.
And Craig, if it is Hibs, then it could well be this man who plays a crucial role for them.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Martin.
It's been a while, I've had a lot of games in between, and away from the league campaign is something to focus on. And full stadium, fans back, should be a fantastic day out.
Martin Boyle, I keep thinking it should be of Scotland, but of course it's your own Australia.
You're listening to that accent, and he's playing for Australia, and doing a great job for Australia, but also doing a great job for Hibs. They've done extremely well to keep a hold of him this season. I thought he potentially could have been on the move. A huge semi-final. He won't get a better day than that to score a hat-trick in a semi-final. He has that pace, so he's always able to ask questions, of your opponent, the defenders, and they need to be on their game, and that could work for Hibs, because those transition moments will be really, really important if they're well organised, and Boyle has got that chance to get in behind and potentially hurt Celtic.
Joe, you're spotting all the stars there, and I know you've just spotted at Aston Villa. He could have been a Celtic player. His brother is playing for Hibs at the back of the stand there. I think you can see him. John McGinn.
John McGinn, there's plenty of stars here today to watch this huge showpiece event. It's just starting to ramp up just now in terms of noise, and I can tell you, I know there were some concerns about fans showing up today over the recent news, but there are not many empty seats in this stadium. Hampden have an impressive light show that they've recently installed, which is just gearing up at the minute, so the teams aren't too far away from coming out, and the atmosphere is definitely heating up. Unlike my toes, which are absolutely frozen, I've only opted for one pair of socks today, which was a huge error.
Joe, do you like the light show?
Do I like the light show?
Yeah.
I do. It's not dark enough though. But
Okay,
when it's dark, it's pretty impressive, yeah.
Joe Henry at Hampden, because I think sometimes we go, well, I'm not having this, I'm not crazy on this, but maybe that's just an age thing as we wait for the teams to come out. Great to see John McGinn there. I wondered if he would be here.
Yeah. I'm a great supporter of his brother, and Hampden, as we look at Jim Goodwin here as well, watching the game. But John McGinn, I don't think John's ever played a bad game at Hampden, so he's no stranger at the stadium, but my goodness, he'll be screaming for his brother today, that's for sure.
Certainly will. It's quite a family dynasty, isn't it? And of course his grandfather Jack was chairman of Celtic, so he'll be drawn today, and but for what, £100,000 he could have been a Celtic player before it was all terminadoed with Brendan Rodgers. But it's Rangers top of the table, 7 points in it. We've got Judgment Day 2 weeks today. There's games midweek as well, Craig, as you know. A big game for Celtic. They're playing at St Mirren, and there's the St Mirren manager there, and there you spotted Davey as well. Oh, there's Roy Aitken, your former colleague.
Roy Aitken, Steve Clark there with John Carver, the Scotland coaching duo, and Roy Aitken in very animated conversation. Is that Pat Stanton he's talking to?
Well spotted. That is the former Hibs and Celtic star. It's Pat Stanton, one of the great players.
Absolutely, isn't he? Hibs legend.
Yep, an absolute legend. Yep, they're all there, Joe. Thanks for spotting everyone. And Steve Clark there, the ex-Kilmarnock manager. They've never replaced him, of course. They haven't really, have they? That's been a problem for Killie. We might speak about them later. I do like to ask this. How do you feel with 4 minutes to go before kick-off? How are you, Davey, at this point?
Just want to get out, get out there and get on with it. Not an enjoyable moment, really. 5-10 minutes before kick-off. Manager's said all that he's going to say. You just want to go on the pitch, get your first touch, make it a good one.
What did Billy say to you before the League Cup final that you went out to win?
Usually the message was just the same, do what you're good at, try and be fearless, be brave on the ball, demand the ball, and don't come off that pitch with any regrets. Make sure you don't leave anything out there.
Craig, what did your manager say to you?
It was always start well, don't concede. Start well, don't concede. Go and enjoy the occasion. That was always pretty much the information that I got. It was a nervous time, as you see some of the subs, they'll come out first. But for the players, this last 5 or 10 minutes, they just want to hear that first whistle go. They want to get that first touch, as Davey mentioned. I wanted to get that first header or first tackle to really sort of settle yourself into the game.
James Forrest there. He'll be so disappointed, Davey, isn't he? He was part of the disappointment last year for Celtic, and this year too.
Yeah, it's had a horrendous time with injury. Got the goal that got Celtic into the final, remember. And they'll miss him today. They'll miss his experience. Cup finals are old hat to guys like James Forrest and Callum McGregor, and I think on cup final day, you need as much experience of the occasion in your team as you can get.
And a bit of magic, which is what James Forrest brings. I guess you look at the bench, that's maybe one we'll talk about later. Let's see what happens. You say, where is the magic coming from? And he is an impact player, but of course he's not involved today. Joe said it's not dark enough. I'll tell you, it's getting dark rapidly, Joe. As the flares are there. Pitch looks in great condition. They all do this time, isn't it? It's phenomenal, Craig. The improvement.
A massive improvement, Back in the day, you're playing in mud pitches really this time of year. So the amount of investment now that has gone into facilities, and you're looking at that pitch there. I mean, it looks an absolute picture. Perfect conditions. It'll be nice and slick, which will give us a high tempo game and a real test for the players. So something that really, really looking forward to. But pitch looks amazing, just as we're seeing the players getting ready to come out the National Stadium, coming through the tunnel.
So will it be sunshine on Leith at the end? Your scoreline, if pushed, was what then in it?
1-1 normal time.
1-1.
Going to go extra time, penalties.
And will it be, you reckon it'll be you'll never walk alone at the end? Davey, scoreline.
Extra time for me as well. 3-2 Celtic after extra time.
Extra time as well. All right, well, listen, we're here all the way till we've got the pies in and we've got something, a few tinnies or something. That won't be tinnies, of course. Not during play. Oh, and there's a hologram there of the late great Bertie Auld. In fact, it's at Willie Hockey's, Lord Hockey's box there, because Bertie was often there.
Really?
And of course the fans would turn to him and enjoy the moment. As referee John Beaton and the assistants and the fourth official come out, Celtic wearing the all green strip, Davy, rather than the hoops.
I don't know why. I don't get that. I don't get that. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but heaven's sake. The Celtic hoops clash with Hibs green and white, hardly.
Live at the ground, here's Joe Henry.
Hi guys, we're just a few minutes away from kick-off here, enjoying a lovely fireworks display and some pyro here, warming everybody up. This of course is the fans' first cup final in 2 years. Everybody in fine voice. Hibs of course underdogs, managerless, but who knows, that could fire them up today. David Gray could become an even bigger hero than he already is for the club. Celtic on form, boosted by the return of Kyogo. They go with Hart in goals. Juranovic, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor at the back. Turnbull, Roderick, McGregor in the middle. Johnstone and Abada supporting Kyogo up front. Just a one change for Hibs. Murphy in for Cadden, who picked up a knock midweek. He starts on the bench today. Hibs go with Macy in goals. McGinn, Porteous, Hanlon and Stevenson at the back. Doyle, Hayes, Newell just in front of them, with Campbell, Boyle, Murphy supporting Nisbet up front. John Beaton is the man in the middle.
The match live next.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go! Cup finals just kicked off. 33 seconds gone. Joe Henry at Hampden. Hibs 0, Celtic 0. We'll keep you right up to date. We've got it here on Premier Sports. It's the Premier Sports Cup final. Hibs playing in the away strip, and so are Celtic. So Hibs basically in white.
Strange one, yeah. Hibs playing in all white, Celtic in all green. Not sure why, but listen, let's hope it doesn't affect the game.
Anything to pick up on in the first minute or so?
Nah, look, not really. I mean, basically, both formations, it is a match in terms of the way that they're playing. So, the contest in the first 5 or 10 minutes would be really, really important. In the first minute or so, there's been nothing of note.
First chance there for Martin Boyle to stretch his legs, pick the ball up really deep, and a typical incisive run by Boyle gets Hibs right up the pitch.
The last 3 Scottish League Cup finals have finished 1-0. Remember last year it was St Johnstone, and the 4 years before it was Celtic, the last of them being 1-0 against Rangers, and Rangers at that point beginning to play much better, but Celtic winning The Cup, a couple of years ago, seems a long time ago in many ways, doesn't it, with COVID and everything, just which is now almost 2 years into it. I heard what Joe said. It's great to see the fans, 50,000 almost this afternoon.
Yeah.
Hibs didn't quite sell out.
No, which is a little bit of a shame, you know, like, oof.
And that was a heavy tackle there.
That was a heavy tackle.
Which we're now seeing on the telly. Referee had a great view of it. We're just seeing
Lewis Stevenson. I don't know what he's doing in that part of the pitch. He's left back. He's surely going to be yellow carded here.
Yeah,
it's a shocking tackle.
We're just going to see it again. Davy Provan and
John
Craig
Bean's
Moore.
looking right in from the side as well. Is Mikey Johnson is taken?
I think so.
It looked like potentially a Barda. But it was a hefty challenge. In the early part of the game. Yeah, it is a Barda that takes a knock there. A test early doors. Did he get the yellow card?
I don't think so. There's no graphic showing he got a yellow card, and he's very fortunate if he didn't.
Because you mentioned Paul Hanlon got a yellow card in the semi-final for much less.
First minute, yeah.
Much less.
I mean, I think you are, and Craig will tell you this as a defender, you're more likely to get away with a tackle in the really early stages of the game than later. And maybe maybe he's felt there. I might get away with this. Just clatter a bad earlier on. Let him know I'm there.
Yep. Man City were 2 up at half-time there against Newcastle, Wolves and Chelsea 0-0. So many games. In fact, just one game, as you know, yesterday. Arsenal winning at Leeds.
Leeds, to be fair, struggle street at the moment.
He had a 15-year-old on the bench,
yes.
Bielsa.
Yeah.
But it is beginning to change. As Celtic now come forward, Davy, down the right. The ball into the box, headed away, corner kick, first one to Celtic.
Good early cross from Abada into the front post. Paul Hanlon, though, managed to get to the front post, lock it off, get the ball behind, and give Hibs a chance to get organised here to face the corner. David Turnbull over it.
The first of how many we'll see Turnbull this afternoon for Celtic with the corner kick. Davy Provan.
Yeah, Turnbull, outswinger, headed away at the near post. I think Paul Hanlon again that gets that way.
Taking up good positions, Dave. But again, it should be, as long as the concentration is there. There's nobody that's really that much bigger in terms of defenders, attackers. Hibs and Celtic, the size of the bigger lads going attacker, it's pretty even. So it's focus, concentration. Hanlon started off very well, taking up good positions. 2-headed clearances.
Bit of mist there this afternoon. We had it in much of the west yesterday. I was down in Ayrshire for a while and it rolled in, and it's also there around Hampden. No problem at the moment. But there were a few games abandoned yesterday. It's 5 minutes gone, just coming up to the 5th minute. Hibs 0. Hibs are the home team today, Celtic 0. Did that ever bother you in cup final day? Which dressing room you were at?
No, not really. Don't think we ever had a lucky dressing room. You just want to make sure you're going up second for your medal.
At this point, Barry Ferguson always says, yeah, it was always lucky for me in a cup final. He had 10 cup finals, he won every one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? 10, yeah. So Celtic coming forward again down the right. Leo Abada plays it into the box,
that's a great
looking
ball.
for Kyogo, but it was picked up by Macy.
That's a great chance. It was a great ball in. Unfortunately, Celtic just, I think, is it Turnbull that's getting forward there? There's a gap there from the back four that they could have attacked Hibs. There was a slight gap. Great ball in, but ended up Hibs controlled the situation, but good opportunity. Celtic a couple of times now down the right-hand side in particular with good balls in from Abada, causing some issues.
He looks too quick for Lewis Stevenson. He just looks too quick. Quick enough to get down the outside, make a nice angle, and what a terrific cross it was. I think if Mikey Johnson gets himself into the back post there, he might have been on the end of that.
Yeah. Hibs 0, Celtic 0 yesterday. Rangers stretching their lead to 7 points. The 1-goal victory against Dundee United. Dundee United decimated because of COVID problems. The manager did say they'd been at Newcastle, the players were, the weekend before, but that was before things got as bad as they are at the moment. But they did well. In fact, United almost, they struck the top of the bar right at the end.
At the end. Hadji come out and apologised after the game for a little bit of showboating. That could have cost Rangers. As Celtic get in, Mikey Johnson looks to cut it back.
Offside against Mikey Johnson, I think.
Offside.
Yeah. And again, the linesman keeps his flag down. I don't get this. This is doing my head in. What linesmen who don't put their flag up immediately when the ball's played and it's marginal, but put your flag up right away.
And you know what? I don't even think it's offside.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even think it's offside. When the ball's played, I think he's he's in line. And again, we don't have VAR that we keep going on about.
So who's telling him?
I don't know. Well, the liner's obviously, or the AR assistant referee has put his flag up, but he looked onside.
Which is crazy. It's doubly crazy then. He's either onside or not, but it should be up to the linesman. Should be up to the...
Yeah, but I don't understand why they don't put their flag up now. I mean, if you're a defender, you're never sure whether the decision's going to be given or not.
As Starfelt there gets caught, Kevin Nisbet and Carter Vickers knocks it out of play. Yep.
No nonsense defending there.
No
No chances.
Yep.
No chances.
Is that your kind of clearance, Craig?
Yeah, clear your lines. Get set again, rather than trying to, maybe play cute passes and get caught out. So you can't score from the stand, that's for sure.
Celtic second top of the table on 41 points. A game in hand on the champions and league leaders Rangers on 48 points. Hearts on 33 after their win yesterday. Motherwell on 28 after their win. Then Dundee United 25, Aberdeen on 24, Hibs on 23. Hibs, of course, a lot's happened since the semi-final. And just looking at the makeup of the team and David Gray on the bench, you couldn't have believed that a couple of weeks ago that Jack Ross wouldn't be there, but he's not. You wonder where he is today, Davey. He'll be watching this anyway.
He'll be watching. I mean, it's his team, his boys, and I'm sure he's desperately hoping Hibs win the game. But he must be reflecting in the last few weeks and thinking, what did I do wrong? We beat Rangers in the semi-final, and 2 weeks later, just over 2 weeks later, I'm out.
Before a game with St Mirren, and they drew that game, which you would have expected to take something. Did it change because it was a change of manager? And then they got a win, a 1-goal victory, which they were playing for cup final places anyway. Just seems strange time. Politics in football, but it is up to the owners as Kyogo goes up there, tries to get ahead to... Is Kyogo looking okay for you, Craig? We're on Kyogo watch.
Kyogo watch. What I can tell you after nearly 9 minutes is he's saving a little bit for himself. Mm-hmm. In terms of, he's normally that little buzz box. Yeah. He's working, but he's working in a smarter way. So again, there for me is a slight risk there, but at the same time, he's an experienced player. Dave, you touched on it at the very, very top. He knows how to look after himself.
Because he was tracking back, wasn't he, against Real Betis when he pulled the hamstring injury. There'll
come a time in the game, Paul, where he's got to put the burners on, and that's when his hamstring will be tested. Something will be thrown up over the top of the centre backs or up the side, and he's going to have to burn, and that'll be the big test for him.
Tom Rogic plays it out to the left. Celtic coming forward, trying to get the shot away. It's Mikey Johnson down the left here, and then Greg Taylor, left-footed high, Davey into the box, but Celtic don't have the height there.
It's a good ball. It's Abada who's coming in at the back post, but not the biggest, obviously, to go and attack it. But good ball in from Greg Taylor. Good deep ball that took Macy out the game. Just a lack of height, I suppose, on either side for Celtic, because they play with two wingers, if you like, two smaller players.
Stevenson actually, he done all right, didn't he? Defensively, he got in, and Abada, you're not expecting to out jump him, and he deals with it. But again, early parts of the game, that ball's gone out, I thought. Early parts of the game, Celtic getting some joy in the flanks, the left and right sides, putting some decent deliveries in. So they're certainly testing Hibs early on. At the moment, Hibs are managing to hold out. Rogic getting a little bit more involved in the last minute or so as well.
Tom Rogic, his 250th appearance for Celtic, and of course he scored the winning goal in the 2017 Scottish Cup final against Aberdeen.
Yeah. Was that goal?
Some goal, wasn't it?
The Maisie? Is that the one where he glides by 2 or 3 players and scores?
As Celtic have an effort there, which did Macy just get
deflection?
To? Yep.
Yeah. So David Turnbull, long range shot, took a big deflection. One of these ones that could have spun up over the goalkeeper and back down under the crossbar. It's just gone wide. Celtic have another corner here. Turnbull going over to take it, and Hibs can't get out of their own half here at the moment.
David Turnbull, one of the top young players, but now at an age where you're looking to see what he'll do in a cup final. The ball comes in, but it's cleared by Hibs. Hibs playing it upfield, looking to bring in Martin Boyle, but it's played back to Tom Rogic, or Tommy as you call him.
Tommy. Tommy. I do call him Tommy.
So does the manager, doesn't he? Yep.
Yeah. Porteous just goes sliding in with Rogic there, and Celtic get the throw in. But at the moment, like I says, Hibs they've had to defend. At times maybe you can give your opponent too much respect. They need to be a little bit tighter. as they just start to get an opportunity to build up from the back.
Ryan Porteous clearing the ball there.
Not great. It goes straight to Taylor, and Celtic back in possession.
Hibs haven't started here yet. And, you know, if you compare this game to the semi-final against Rangers, where Hibs were right in Rangers' face early on, dominating the game, they can't get out of their own half right now.
Celtic getting out their half now as they sweep it out to the left to Mikey Johnson. He's made it. He's fit for the game this afternoon at Hampden. Down the left, Paul McGinn is on him there, but it's still, he cuts inside, gets away from two of them, shoots high and wide, but not a bad effort, Craig Moore.
Good effort. Mikey Johnson gets isolated in the fullback area. Hibs look to try and double up. It doesn't matter. Mikey Johnson's got enough about him to be able to then cut inside, work a half opportunity for himself to get a shot. Unfortunately, just keeps on rising, but positive, lively start from Mikey Johnson. In the flanks, both sides, you know, Celtic have been really, really positive.
That's what Celtic need off Mikey Johnson today. And he'll be desperate to do well. Huge occasion, cup final. He's not always a first choice. He's got his chance this afternoon. That was really good wide play to open the target up as well as he did. Get the right foot shot away. Ange Postecoglou in conversation with the fourth official. Not happy about something, not quite sure what.
Yep. Can't see so far. 13 minutes gone. Celtic are playing right to left as we watch on Premier Sports from the main stand side at the National Stadium. Kyogo just chests it down there. Does well. Plays it to Tommy Rogic. Playing with a smile on his face, Davey, isn't he? He's a great attitude.
Well, he's a big game player as well. We were talking about the goal he scored against Aberdeen, and he tends to come up with the big goal at the big moment. And you wouldn't be surprised if he wrote his name all over this final today.
A big lad, isn't he? He's a big lad, but I tell you what, he's got great feet. He glides by like players as
he's
if
never going to do a
there.
hamstring, is he?
He's not that quick. but he's surprising because he's got good reach and he protects the ball well. Celtic get... Oh, is it a double save? Oh, it ended up the offside flag's gone there. Macy makes a great save. Celtic look to follow up for what looked like was going to be a certain tap in. Macy Hanlon gets back and clears it, but he was offside. He was offside the follow up there.
Yeah. The flag's gone up. Macy should. I think Paul Hanlon saying to his goalkeeper, "Get that wide, get it safe." You know, Macy's got his gloves on it, but he's palmed it straight out instead of getting it either behind or wide.
Good defending though from Hanlon. I know he's not thinking whether or not the offside. It ended up being offside, but he's back in on top of his goalkeeper and dealing with the spillage. But you're right, Macy. Can you push it outside, not back in the middle of the box?
Paul Hanlon, a more than decent player.
Yes, more than decent. He's captain for a reason. Great experience, and he's already shown in the early part of this game his positioning, but being really, really alert there.
Davey, you touched on it. Are Celtic beginning to get a grip on this? It's 0-0.
Celtic have got the game by the throat, Paul. You know, without making too many chances, but they bossed the game. We've now gone almost 15 minutes, and Hibs haven't turned up yet.
Take that one out the podcast where I say at the beginning to get on top of it, Paul. They've got it by the throat, but it's Hibs coming down here with Martin Boyle, but it's defended well. Straight back to the goalkeeper, to Joe Hart. I think that's his first touch of the afternoon, and we're 15 minutes into it. Hibs 0, Celtic 0. Starfelt, Davey, I hesitate to say what about the defence. I know Starfelt had a really tough start. It has got better.
Yeah, he has improved. Well, he had to improve because it was a really poor start he had. You could argue that he hadn't a proper pre-season under his belt, but I still think he's got a problem being right-footed, playing left side. He doesn't look totally at home on that side.
So, and it's difficult as well sometimes, you know, when you're a new player coming in. You know, the beginning he had different partners in terms of, you know, Celtic were light at the back defensively, so playing with a different partner every other game, it's not easy, but with his kind of experience you can see now that he's growing into the jersey and starting to do well for Celtic.
Quite a few people on the socials saying that was the insight that you gave us about Ange, that he would tend not to. Would he tell, Davey said, I take it he would tell Tony Ralston, you're on the bench beforehand, but you think probably not. It's just not the way he is.
It's not the way he operates. He likes to have those boundaries. You know, he likes people to be on eggshells. That's the kind of environment that he likes to create. He certainly will not sit down with players and give them, you know, in detail explanations about why they're not playing or why they're not being used, he'll make the decision and just get on with it.
Which must be good when things go well, but when things go badly, then that relationship, well, it's just different then, isn't it? You know, he's not...
Yeah, no, of course. At some stage, players maybe need that arm around them, that little bit of word of encouragement. Listen, you're doing well. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, look, I'm not saying that he won't do that. You know, he's evolving and maturing as a manager as well. So,
Davy, Celtic coming forward.
Yeah, Mikey Johnson again, seen plenty of the ball, comes in off the left side, but try to play 1-2 with David Turnbull, gets a poor return pass from Turnbull, and Hibs have possession, but again they've squandered it, trying to get the ball forward quickly to Kevin Nisbet, but not finding him. And at the moment, the just wave after wave of Celtic pressure.
Celtic kind of need to turn this pressure into a goal now.
Well, yeah, they've got to open Hibs up. You know, they've seen plenty of the ball. If I'm Celtic, I'd get the ball into the two wide players. Abada looks too quick for Stevenson, and Mikey Johnson looks as if he's in the mood to give Paul McGinn a hard time as well.
But still 0-0. Craig,
yeah,
you agree?
The reason why Celtic are dominating this game, and people comment on why the fullbacks come into those central areas, and you can see there Taylor. He was playing like a central midfield there when the ball's on the right hand side. But what it does do is it gives you a massive overload in the middle of the park. Right, and then you still have your wider players, Mikey Johnson, that you can then get the ball out to, Davey. That they're isolated 1v1 where their strengths are, but it's from the massive overload in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Still 0-0 as Starfelt plays it forward. Well, plays it forward for nobody there. It's going to be played all the way back to Kevin Macy. Macy, it's a poor clearance there for Hibs. They've just not got the rhythm at all, Davey.
Poor pass back from Ryan Porteous to his goalkeeper. A really awkward one for the keeper. All he could do was launch it. He's hit it straight out of play. And every time they do that, Hibs are giving up possession.
Quick break, and then we're back.
The Go Radio Football Show with the taxicentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go!
Hibs 0, Celtic 0, 21 and a half minutes gone in the Premier Sports, the Scottish League Cup final, and we've got two legends here who have cup medals aplenty in the Scottish Cup and in the Scottish League and the Scottish League Cup. It's of course Craig Moore, the former Rangers star, and Davy Provan, former Celtic and Scotland star. Davy didn't play for Australia, but Craig certainly did, and he's watching his fellow countrymen in the dugout there. Will it be Ange Postecoglou, whose team will take the glory this afternoon, or will it be David Gray, stand-in boss, just for one game only? Hibs against Celtic. Craig, so far it's been virtually all Celtic.
It's been all Celtic, total domination, getting massive overload in the middle of the park, getting good width and opportunities for Abada and Mikey Johnson, just as Mikey Johnson's trying to face two Hibs players up. Unfortunately, not that time. It's taken Hibs 21 minutes to get the ball in terms of a delivery, a free kick. Carter Vickers gave away a free kick. But Celtic in total control. Most important thing in this situation is that defensively you stay switched on because they're totally dominating this match.
Yeah, corner given here to Celtic. Paul McGinn felt it was a goal kick. Mikey Johnson, again, the Hibs are doubling up on him. And it looks to me as if it was a corner. Corner comes in. Kyogo trying to get in at the back post. Starfelt couldn't get enough on it at the front post. And whoever's directing this must be delighted. He almost missed a goal there.
I was about to say, who is it? Certainly not Martin Carroll. He wouldn't have missed that one.
Oh,
It's a massive chance. A massive
chance.
Starfelt, near post run, totally free. Tries to work the header to the far post. He doesn't get enough on it. Kyogo charging into the back post. Massive chance for Celtic.
That should have been 1-0, Davy.
Well, he's got away from Porteous. I think it's Porteous who's picking Starfelt up at the corner. It's a really good corner. Comes in, loads of pace on it to the front post. He's lost his marker. All he's got to do is get enough on it, get it on the target, and he scores. And he doesn't get enough on it.
You're right. He doesn't get enough. He doesn't get enough contact there. It's more of a glance. But it was a wonderful opportunity for Celtic.
Taylor went down under pressure.
Yes,
Did you see that from Paul McGinn?
Has raked his studs down the back of his leg there. Probably accidentally, but if John Beaton sees that, he's got to give the penalty.
As Celtic come forward, Davy, a chance again, Mikey Johnson, but yep. Well, in fact, he's just lost the ball there, and Hibs come forward. Has David Turnbull taken?
That looked like again. It looked potentially as if he's done a muscle injury there or his hamstring. Might get a second look here, but didn't look great. And you can see Ange looking over to the bench. Might be an issue here.
Oh, it looks like it, David, doesn't it? He is hobbling at the moment. David Turnbull.
Oh, was it David Turnbull that was raked at the front post there? I didn't think it
No,
was.
it
might be
wasn't.
wrong,
It was
though.
Greg Taylor.
Greg Taylor,
I think
yeah,
so,
yeah. David Turnbull's game is over. He's done his hamstring.
Oh,
And you can see the anger on his face. His game's over, I'm afraid.
What is happening that there are so many of these injuries at Celtic?
Well, they've got to look at it. I don't know who's in charge of the sports science, but the club is having far too many muscle injuries right now, and that's either down to too much intensity at training, or there's got to be a reason for it. There's just too many of them right now.
So who's coming on, Davy? Then would Ralston come on, or Montgomery, or McCarthy, or what do you think? Just looking at the team sheet here, who else they have? We'll find out.
Not sure. It's his left hamstring, I think. They're trying to stretch it out, but this is crazy. They've got to get him off.
I don't know why you're stretching it. I mean, look, we're 25 minutes into the game. It's got nothing to do with cramp, which is normally when you see the stretch.
Yeah.
You don't stretch a hamstring if potentially you've tore it.
Yeah.
And it looked at straight away. His hand goes to the belly of his left-sided hamstring, and therefore you can't continue. You touch on why. You know, that's 3 or 4 now at Celtic in terms of hamstrings. Intensity, workload, definitely plays a part.
Yeah, near Beaton about to come on, just getting final instructions there from Gavin Strachan. David Turnbull, I'm afraid, his cup final's over after just 25 minutes. And near Beaton will come on, probably to sit in alongside Callum McGregor. I might even release Callum McGregor to play a little bit further forward.
Look at David Turnbull. Look,
he's distraught.
He's distraught, isn't he?
Well, a hamstring's it's not a week or 10 days, Paul. Hamstring could be 6 weeks. Depends how bad it is. And it was like he played the pass to Mikey Johnstone there, and then you immediately saw his left hand going onto the back of his leg. So that does not look good.
Gavin Strachan had the iPad there that was so unpopular with the fans last season. He was there just showing near Bitton, who actually has had a good season for Celtic.
And he's a very good player.
Yep.
He's a very good player.
I know you both rate him.
You know, he's an international player. We see him do the business so well for Israel. Great size. He has that flexibility about him. Like I says, my only thing is in a flat back four, he's probably not ideal as a centre half, but in front of him or involved in a back three, fantastic player.
You feel there for David Turnbull. He can't believe it, Davy.
Yeah, you can see the expression. He's absolutely distraught. Not just to have to come off in a cup final, but he knows that it's probably not a short-term injury. And Abada again tries to get the cross in, doesn't get the bend on it, and Macy takes it comfortably at the front post. But again, Abada looks too quick for Lewis Stevenson, Hibs left back here. I was a little bit surprised that Josh Doig was dumped onto the bench today for Hibs. And Abada, for me, Celtic not getting enough of the ball to him, but he does look as if he's got Lewis Stevenson any time he wants.
As Celtic come forward with the Australian talisman, playing a bit like Joe Aribo is at Rangers. I know he didn't start yesterday, but Aribo has been on fire. The cameras keep going back to David Tyree. He's distraught. He's distraught.
He's distraught. Look, he's distraught because it's a cup final. It's a wonderful opportunity to potentially lift a trophy. But at the same time, he sees the games that now you're going to miss out on. You know, we talk about Judgment Day. There's so many big games coming up. And then there is that little break. But top players want to play week in, week out. He looks absolutely devastated there. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him.
Not the Christmas present that anyone would want. And he'll be hoping that his teammates can bring the Christmas present of the first trophy of the season. Celtic 0, Hibs 0. Celtic come forward. Good ball into the box from McGregor for Kyogo. But Davey just didn't get to him. Yeah,
it's a terrific ball. And that's the first evidence that we've seen here that Beaton will sit deeper. And that will release Callum McGregor to play a little bit further forward alongside Rogic. And that's a terrific early ball from McGregor. Kyogo just didn't anticipate it coming in as early as it did. Otherwise, he might have been in the end of it.
He's tried that old double movement that we see Kyogo have, and it's worked really effectively so far this season. But again, Hanlon, the experience, the captain, he was in a really good position, and not for the first time in this game, has been able to clear his lines.
Are they just holding themselves just a little bit as Kyogo? Do you think, Davey said that earlier, he will have to put the burners on at some point? He's not quite yet.
No, and when I said that he's being smart and a little bit reserved, you know, we normally see him chasing down the goalkeeper and putting loads of pressure and all that sort of stuff. There's been a couple of occasions and he just let the goalkeeper have the ball. So he's being smart. He's doing the running that he needs. He'll make those runs in behind, but just like I said, looking after himself.
Still 0-0, 29 minutes gone. Joe Hart handles the ball for what second time.
It's hardly a touch at all, Joe Hart. And, you know, I just wonder what Jack Ross is making of this. I'm sure he's watching the game. And his side, or what was his side, is barely recognisable from the team that came through and battered Rangers a few weeks ago.
Hibs in a cup final. Hearts, one of the challengers to Rangers in third position. So Edinburgh, well represented in both tournaments so far. But in fact, at the moment, it's Martin Boyle showing great pace coming up over the halfway line, Davey. And that's really the first time we've seen that. Plays it to Kevin Nisbet's a chance here, but just too much on it. That was their best chance so far, Craig.
Best chance, you're right. Boyle being nice and positive, running directly at the Celtic backline. Ends up, losing out, but it's kept alive. Falls to Nisbet, who then, tries to keep it, get it in behind for Campbell. Unfortunately, just a little bit ahead of him. But the first time Hibs have actually tested Celtic in behind.
As Celtic come forward, Callum McGregor, they were just slightly nipped, but he's still in the ball. It's McGregor, the captain, plays it to Tom Rogic, 25 yards out, plays it through to Kyogo. Hibs claim offside.
Yeah.
Offside.
But again, so we've seen the movement from Kyogo, Rogic in that important position. Really good opportunity. Good movement. Oh, I tell you what, it's borderline. Yeah, I mean, Hanlon definitely looking to Stevenson potentially could have played him on.
I think Stevenson's deepest there, Craig, and I think Kyogo's probably level. But such a tough call for linesmen. Kyogo plays right on the shoulder, right on the edge of offside.
Yeah. And I liked the offside rule back in the day, David, where benefit of the doubt would go to the attacking player.
Yep.
You understood that. It was still very, very clear. And at the end of the day, we want to see goals in football matches.
Entertainment, of course. That's what should happen. Maybe Kyogo is too fast for the naked eye. We need VAR. I see some of the players coming to Scotland are saying, well, you don't have VAR. We talk about this multi-million-pound league, which it is. It's not the £1 billion, but we are falling behind with no VAR. But Celtic now coming forward. 0-0, 31 and a half minutes gone. Rogic to McGregor. That was a lovely pass through to him.
Paul Hanlon, great interception. Otherwise, Abada is clear on the right-hand side. One of the few occasions that Celtic have had a chance to counter-attack where Hibs had players up the pitch. For the most part of this, Hibs have been goal side, 9-10 players goal side. It's almost been like a training session, given the pattern of play. But Celtic just can't make a chance. That's the problem.
The game's actually also 30 minutes in. It's quite stretched, Davey. It's pretty end to end now. There's a lot of space and opportunity. But Celtic are definitely bossing this match. Obviously, with Bitton coming in, it's pushed McGregor a little bit further forward. Yeah. Also, which may be a positive for Celtic.
I just think the Hibs, the back line, they've got to be brave enough to squeeze the game, close the game up, and get up higher. That one of the hallmarks of the Rangers' performance for Hibs was that Hanlon and Porteous were up on the halfway line at every opportunity. They were closing the game up continually, making the pitch shorter for the midfield players to go and support.
Yeah. But it's so important when the defenders they do that. The same needs to be done, obviously, with midfield getting nice and tight, getting people's heads down so that it forces good pressure. So that controlled pass is not on as Hibs are breaking forward here. Stevenson makes an overlap. Ball gets put into the box, defended by Bitton, and now Celtic on the counter themselves.
Davey, a chance on here for Celtic.
Yeah, it's Rogic on the ball here now. Oh, good tackle. Not sure who got the tackle in. Might have been Doyle Hayes. Breaks to Mikey Johnson. Poor cross in, trying to find Kyogo. Doesn't clear the first defender. I think Hibs are going to have John Beaton waving play on. Very, very scrappy. Celtic, in fact, have the free kick here. Not sure who's down there. It's Mikey Johnson who's taken a head knock. He's going to require some treatment here, I think. But when the dust settles here, Celtic will have a free kick on the left-hand side, about 35 yards out. Chance to put the ball in the box. It's Doyle Hayes who catches him. Legitimate attempt by the Hibs player to win the ball, but he's caught Mikey Johnson late with a header. Man
City are still 3 up. Mahrez was the scorer of the last one, and Wolves and Chelsea still 0-0.
Riyad Mahrez, on trial at St Mirren at one time.
No way.
Yeah, a trialist with St Mirren.
And what was the reason for not being good enough?
Somebody made a big mistake.
I guarantee he's too small, he's too lightweight.
Probably.
0-0, 34 minutes gone. I didn't know that. That was a revelation. Bombshell from Davy Provan. Free kick for Celtic. Davy.
Yeah, free kick going to be taken by Juranovic, left side, so it's going to be an in-swinger. Just try and drop it over that Hibs line into the space. Celtic have all the big targets up. It's a decent ball in. Ryan Porteous gets the header away, and a chance for Hibs to counter here. Martin Boyle, taken late. That'll be a booking, I think.
Greg Taylor. In fact, Juranovic, he's gone over, said sorry, and we'll see if John Beaton.
Yellow cards. I mean, I can't believe it. It's not a worse one than Lewis Stevenson had early in the game.
It's just because of the time of the game. Is it because
I think it is. You're more likely to get away with clattering somebody in the first few minutes for some reason. Roy Keane did it all his whole career.
Davey, it does not make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Some referees, I think, are determined to try and get through a big occasion without producing a yellow card, but.
It's that consistency, isn't it? Because then also you see sometimes when you see a free kick that will be given anywhere else on the field, except the penalty box, all of a sudden referees don't want to give it. So all you want is that consistency, whether it's the first, second, or the last minute of the match. If it's a bad enough foul and it's deemed to be a bookable offence, it shouldn't matter.
Is that the first yellow of the game?
So.
I think it is. Yeah. So as the ball's played all the way back to Macy. Neither keeper has as much to do. Macy obviously busier. He
had the one save, the one save where he probably should have parried out wide, parried it back into the box, but Celtic were offside with the follow-up.
Although with VAR, were they? They were on that occasion. You might hear the sound there just slightly behind the actual vision time as Kyogo comes forward. Yep, he's tackled, and it's going to be a free kick to Celtic, and it's a yellow card. Doyle Hayes.
He's had a few. He had one just a moment ago there. He was late in on Mikey Johnson, and John Beaton, I think, has remembered what pocket his cards are in, because he's let a few worse than that go.
It's your old line, though, isn't it? He got there as soon as he could. I'd never heard that until you broke on the airwaves, Davey, when you hung up the boots. And also, you were the first one to say the goalkeeper went down in instalments. That was Davies.
Love that one. Yeah.
We'll get a new one soon. Right, Celtic come forward. A chance in there for Rogic, but just too much on it, Davey.
Yeah, Mikey Johnson just trying to slide him in. Good run by Rogic, going beyond the ball, beyond the striker. Johnson again opening the pitch up for himself by coming off the left side, and Macy down quickly enough to take.
Kyogo makes a great run there. You see him, he drags Hanlon away. That actually provided that space for Rogic. Probably needed Kyogo to make the run, but beyond the end of the pass as well. Unfortunately, can't be everywhere.
Yeah. Davey, I was only having a go there because I'm missing the column, I have to tell you. In fact, I got the Sunday Post today. Great column in it, Ross King.
I'm missing the check every month.
0-0, 37 minutes gone. Celtic coming down the right. There's a lot of people in the socials saying, what's happening with the way Celtic are trained? That's another injury now. It's David Turnbull who went off 10 minutes ago, replaced by Beaton. People are saying this is for the players. It's dangerous, but maybe too early to say.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, when you start to get a trend of type of injuries, then of course you need to look and dig a little bit deeper to understand the reasons why. Celtic have a really good opportunity now, just outside 10-15 yards outside the 18-yard box, just on the right-hand side. Juranovic over the ball, but an opportunity to test Hibs once again defensively.
I think Beaton fancies a strike on target here. It's got to be at least 30 yards out, but he's taking the kind of run up that suggests he's going to put his foot through it. Hibs have got 4 in the wall. Macy just trying to make sure that wall is in the right position here, and Beaton having a long look at this Ronaldo style look at the ball here. He placed the ball, so he's certainly going to hit it. Here he comes, right footed. He's trying to play in Kyogo on the right hand side, and it's wasted. It goes by for a goal kick. Kyogo tackled there. Kyogo reckon it should have had a corner.
Yeah, I thought
it's a goal kick to Hibs and a wasted opportunity there.
I thought it was possibly a corner as well there, maybe get the benefit of the replay. But Beaton, he's given us he had us filled, didn't he? But Kyogo just on the outside there, he gets in, but defensively Hibs get across. It probably should be a corner. Referee's got it wrong there.
That was a great build-up, Davey. I have to tell you, he's got to let fly. And then I was just left thinking, what about Kyogo's highlights? Do they need to be done, Craig? Because that hair that we changed a month ago to the sort of blonde looks as though he might have to head to wherever it is they head to.
Where do they go now?
Gary Haley
back in the day,
Studios.
it was Pele's back in the day.
Oh, yeah, big. Yeah,
do you remember Pele?
I do indeed, yeah.
So that was a place that a lot of the players used to
Back
go
a wee
back
bit.
in
They
the
did,
day.
didn't they?
Yeah.
Celtic and Rangers, because you were all in there, weren't you?
Taylor Ferguson's, I think.
That's
just
right. Oh,
before
Taylor,
that.
of course. Taylor and Anne, who were on the business show,
Yeah.
which is resting for Christmas. But yeah, good man. Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Cup final special this afternoon. Paul Cooney in the company of a couple of legends, Davy Provan and Craig Moore. 0-0. Yeah, David Turnbull went off, hamstring injury. Near Beaton is on. A couple of bookings. Doyle Hayes for Hibs, and for Celtic it was Juranovic who was booked. There's Beaton on the ball. Down the right. What are you seeing there?
I'm just saying again, looking at the Taylor in terms of the position for a left fullback, that's him on the ball now, centre midfield. Look where McGregor is. So in terms of those rotations, in terms of getting bodies in there, Celtic done it really well at the first part of this half. Hibs have, without being a huge attacking threat, have probably come into it a little bit better in terms of their positioning and understanding of how Celtic are playing.
Does everyone know where the fans are, Davey? Which because of the similar colours, then it's different, isn't it, when it's Hibs Celtic?
Yeah, I mean, I take it the Hibs.
I think that's the Hibs over there, isn't it? Across from the main stand.
You know, I'm not sure, Paul, to be honest with you.
I don't know why I asked you that one. I think it was because Craig said, "Look where he is." I said, "Craig, the listener isn't watching the telly. We'll tell them where they are."
Did I say in the middle of the park?
Yeah, no, you did now. Listen, it's your first full season, and you are
a few errors in there.
You know, you're in for Player of the Year. You're definitely young Player of the Year.
Yeah, young player.
Craig Moore. As Celtic come down the left, Mikey Johnson's. He done all right for you, Craig? In fact, it's a good one too there. So let's watch this. Still in edge of the box. He's trying to play into Rogic, but no. Free kick.
No, he has. He's been lively. He's wanted the ball in those wider areas, and when Mikey Johnson gets the opportunity 1v1 again, you think that he's got the opportunity of being able to go by players. You know, plays a good 1-2 combination there with Taylor. Hibs defended that well, but Abada also had the same impact in the earlier part of the first half.
Raheem Sterling has scored 4-0 City.
Just a 4 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. That's his 101st goal, probably then, isn't it? It's 100 goals just the other day. Phenomenal.
Newcastle, big concerns.
Big worry, isn't it?
Big worry, yeah. You know, a lot of money, but at the end of the day, you're staring potential relegation in the face.
And who is going to come there? As we'll hear what's happening here. It's still 0-0. Kyogo trying to get through. He's handling there with him. The goalkeeper as well, outside the box. He's gone down. Not much in it, Davey, is there?
Yeah, but he had to put the burners on there. That's the first burst we've really seen from Kyogo, and he looks as if he's okay. Almost gets there in front of Macy. Took a couple of strides, then he goes down. I think if he goes down really early, I'm going to sound really cynical here. If he goes down really early, he gives John Beaton a decision to make, but he took a couple of strides to stay up, then he goes down.
Sometimes when the goalkeeper's a little bit closer, and potentially there can be that contact, but it wasn't close enough. Therefore, Kyogo does try to stay on his feet, loses his balance, goes to ground.
So you start to think of the halftime pies. I'm sure the players won't be having halftime pies. 3 minutes to go and 0-0. Celtic dominated the first half hour, but has it changed a little bit?
This is a familiar story with Celtic. All the possession in the world, but without really making a proper chance. I mean, Celtic have dominated the game, but Macy hasn't had too much to do.
And Carter Vickers tries to clear it there, clatters off one of his own players, goes all the way back to Joe Hart, the former England goalkeeper, who clears it upfield. It's picked up by Near Beaton in the midfield. Gets past one player, he's surging forward as he likes to do. He's looking up. Who's he got with him? He's got his captain, Callum McGregor. He goes down. It's going to be a free kick to Celtic and a yellow card, Craig Moore. Is it Kevin Nisbet?
Yeah. And the right decision. Beaton very, very positive, driving 30-40 yards with the ball. Nisbet chasing back, shoves in the back, free kick and yellow card. Right decision.
I think he might fancy striking this one, this free kick. It's slightly more central. Is he going to give it the Ronaldo preparation here? No, it's Juranovic who's over it.
Who can also strike it.
Yeah, he can. I mean, this is right on the edge of range. This has got to be...
You shouldn't be conceding a goal from that distance, though.
No, sure. I just wonder even if you need a wall from that distance. But Juranovic, I'd be surprised if he doesn't try and test Macy here. He's about 30 yards out. I don't think he's got a decent angle really to play a cross in. He'll take the shot on, I'm sure.
Kyogo in an offside position at the moment, but he'll slip back as he comes forward. Juranovic, but high over the top, wasted opportunity, Davy, or worth a?
I think it's worth
for
a
it.
go. Now and again, they end up in the top corner. He just gets the ball up a little bit too quickly there, and doesn't quite get the top spin he's looking for. But it looks as if Hibs are going to get in 0-0 at half time. But if you're David Gray, I'm going to be saying to my team, look, this is a cup final. We haven't turned up yet.
Yeah. And Celtic with players like, it was good news for Celtic to have Kyogo, to have Mikey Johnson, but you would worry if they could go for 90 minutes or the dreaded, as you mentioned, maybe extra time.
Extra time. Yeah, well, look, no, I mean, extra time is not great for the players. Again, when you look at their workloads, you have to put so much into that. Celtic start off very, very positive, but there hasn't really been anything clear cut in the match.
The zip has gone a little bit.
So there were some good early deliveries. The shot that tested Macy early doors, but with Hibs not being unbelievable, Davey, they certainly sort of like managed the half well enough as it's gone on.
So 0-0, we'll find out shortly as we've played the 45 minutes. There's a few minutes added on as Hibs come forward. Down the left, Davy Provan.
Yeah, it's Murphy on the ball now. Jimmy Murphy trying to go by Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers does well to show him the outside, doesn't get the cross in the Hibs winger. Hibs looking for a free kick, but John Beaton waves play on. Abada now for Celtic. Midfield support arriving through Callum McGregor, but he's stopped in his tracks. The ball, but really scrappy game at the moment as we approach half time here. Pass through there, trying to find Abada, cut out by Doyle Hayes, launches it long, Doyle Hayes, up to Kevin Nisbet, but although he gets his head on it, he can't control it. It goes out for a throw into Celtic right on the halfway line.
It's not quite happening for them, is it, for Celtic, that some of the passing?
No, and again, when the game has been stretched a little bit, Paul, and with that, it becomes end to end, and then that quality of ball needs to be spot on, and whether that ball's just been slightly off or whether Hibs have found a position to be able to cut that out and therefore break the attack down, but it has been a little bit scrappy.
2 minutes have been added on, so we've played one of them already, so the whistle will go very shortly. Hibs 0, Celtic 0. The first silverware of the season. And how important is that, David, to get
huge?
First
it's huge. Well, obviously, it's big for David Gray, but it's huge for Ange Postecoglou, I think, given what he inherited in the summer. If he was to win silverware within a few months of coming in, it would be a remarkable achievement. He's already got the supporters on side. That would make him even more popular with the Celtic support, and they might get the benefit in terms of the league campaign as well if they lift the League Cup.
And that for me is an absolute certainty. If you can go and lift silverware today, it gives you great momentum and belief.
Here comes a free kick into the box for Celtic, but it's headed away. Comes out as far as Callum McGregor, who plays it forward, looking for Kyogo. Davey
They're looking for a penalty here.
Yes.
Kyogo.
Offside.
Well, to be fair, offside flag's been given. Has gone up anyway, but I just wonder if he was pushed there.
He's clever. He's clever in the box. I've got to give him that. He's close enough to the defenders, and you've got to be really, really careful, because one slip, just as it's half time there in the coming to half time, Kyogo having words with the referee, so maybe trying to claim something there, but in the box he's very, very clever, so defensively you've got to be on your toes.
All right, David, back with you and Craig and Joe shortly. Half time in the cup final. Hibs 0, Celtic 0.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go!
Go Radio Football Show, the Cup Final Special with the Taxi Centre. Paul Cooney, I'm looking at Craig Moore with a bundle of medals. He's brought one of them this afternoon, and Davy Provan with his as well. I'll tell you, it's hard to call who's going to have the medal, the new one this year. Celtic dominating the first half, but it's 0-0 at half time. Let's go live to the ground for a moment or two. We've heard a fair bit, obviously, pre-match, half time. Joe, what's your impression there at Hampden?
Well, Paul, Hibs certainly started with a statement of intent anyway. Lewis Stevenson lucky to escape a booking with that heavy tackle on Abada after just 2 minutes. Mikey Johnson caused a bit of trouble down the left early on as well. Hibs, though, were largely pinned back for most of the first half. Taylor forced Macy into a save, which he spilled after 15 minutes. Abada with a follow-up, which Hanlon cleared off the line. It was eventually flagged for offside. Celtic continued to dominate possession. Hibs eventually made it into the box after 20 minutes. Newell with a free kick into the area which Hanlon couldn't get enough on. Celtic then had a call for a penalty. Taylor looked to be pushed by McGinn at the front post, but it was waved away by Beaton. There was an injury blow for Celtic just before the half-hour mark. Turnbull looked to pull up with a hamstring injury. He was replaced by Beaton. Turnbull looked absolutely devastated to leave the field of play. Celtic continued to pass the ball around with ease, just lacking that clinical final ball. John Beaton, though, he found his pocket around 35 minutes with 2 yellow cards in quick succession. First to Juranovic for a foul on Boyle. He was threatening on the break. The second for Doyle Hayes, who took down Kyogo a few minutes later. Just before half-time, Juranovic went for goal with a free kick from distance, which went well over. Despite a dominant display from Celtic so far, this game very much still hanging in the balance. After 45 minutes, it's Hibs 0, Celtic 0.
So 0-0 at half-time. Davy and Craig. Davy, your thoughts?
Yeah, we're just watching the best chance of the match, Paul, and it was a corner taken by David Turnbull into the front post. Starfelt lost Ryan Porteous, who was picking him up, and he's got to score. He just doesn't get enough on the header. It's the best chance of the match, and I think this is a game that needs a goal. It needs a goal to spark it.
Greg?
Yeah, and again, it's one of those ones where I feel that the later in this second half it goes, obviously plays into Hibs' advantage. I think if Hibs come out and score straight away, I still think that could actually work against them. A late rally from Hibs in terms of staying 0-0 and
into the last quarter.
Yes. Then I think it can ask some real questions. But wasn't a great deal on offer the first half. You know, you touch on there. Starfelt definitely the best chance of the match. He gets nowhere near enough on it, and he's free from 6 yards. So he's got to at least hit the target there.
The referee was mentioned. Joe mentioned that should have been an early booking there, but he's not
Lewis
that much to
Stevenson
do.
on a batter. It was a shocker.
That was a yellow card.
Yeah, I'm surprised John Beaton let that go.
Yep. Right at the start of the game, that's what happens. We're just looking. I'm looking at the bench now, Davy. Is it too early to start thinking what would Celtic do? David Turnbull was distraught going off. You hate to see any player going off with a hamstring injury, and he realises he's not going to be out for just a few days.
Celtic's bench is weak, Paul.
It is.
I'm being perfectly honest here. Celtic's bench is weak. It's been weak all season. That's one of the reasons that Ange Postecoglou needs help in the window from the board of directors. They have to strengthen his squad. Because too often this season, when Celtic have been struggling to break teams down, he's looked at his bench and he's realised there's not a game changer on it. And I'm reluctant to say it, but that's the case today.
And there's no other striker, Craig. There's no Giakoumakis. We've never really seen him anyway. Does he exist? Well, yeah, he does. But to be fair, he's been injured. But no, Celtic fans haven't seen him at all. Ayeti.
Ayeti picked up also the hamstring injury as well, but was having little involvement, obviously. But you look at the two benches, and I've got to say, Hibs have got a far stronger bench. And again, that can be important in terms of how this game plays out in the second half, potentially extra time.
Players like Doidge, Allen, could it be written? Yeah, ex-Celtic player.
Clever player he is.
Chris Cadden, he's got the pace, the engine as the game goes on.
If they need to close up shop after getting a goal, you've got a player like Gogic who comes in and can sit in the middle of the park and hassle and protect his back four. So Hibs have a stronger bench, in my opinion.
Craig, I know I chatted with Barry the other night about what Marvin would be wearing. Remember we said, what's he going to wear? He had a very nice suit on, but luckily he's put his coat on, so his mum's been on the phone saying, get the coat on. It'd be freezing.
He was looking sharp as attack, wasn't he, before? He was suited and booted, looked amazing, and we're like that thinking it's got to be cold. Half time there, the big coat's out, but he's still looking well, isn't he?
He is indeed. Fancy a pie at half time then? Are we going to have it? McGee's pie is in
Marvellous.
here. Yeah. All right, Stuart, looking forward to it. Quick break at half time. Hibs 0, Celtic 0.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options, and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with TheTaxiCentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go!
Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre, the Cup Final Special at Hampden, just a couple of miles away from us here in the heart of the New Gorbals, just a mile or so from the city. 0-0 at half-time. What's going to happen in the second half? Well, Celtic on the bench, they've got Bain, Scales, Beaton is on, as you know, for Turnbull, McCarthy, Liam Shaw, Montgomery, Ralston surprised many people by being on the bench, Welsh and Moffat. And for Hibs, there's subs: Dabrowski, the goalkeeper, Doig, Wright, Doige, Gogic, Scott Allen, McGregor, Scott and Chris Cadden. So we're just saying with Davey and Craig Moore that Celtic, the bench is weak. What's going to happen in the second half? Celtic have dominated most of the first half, but there's been no goals so far. This time yesterday, Rangers, while they were playing at home to Dundee United, they got the 1-goal victory. Tavernier. It was a poor performance, but they took the points. A penalty in 71 minutes. Hearts stay third after a 1-goal victory at Dundee. Walker, the scorer, after 75 minutes. Ross County led for most of the second half. They scored just before half-time through Canchola. And then it was Obalai who scored with 1 minute remaining. So that was a blow there to David Martindale. But he's got them moving again. And for Ross County to come away with 1 point is because Livy were hoping for 3. They'd that marked down as a 3-pointer for them, but it wasn't to be. Motherwell against St Johnstone. Big game. Saints have only 9 goals so far this season going into that game, and it's still the case. The double cup winners last season, they were the winners at the League Cup final, the Premier Sports Cup final last season, as we all know. Well, they lost 2-0 at Motherwell, and it was Dean Cornelius. Terrific goal, just chested it down, struck it from 22, 23 yards. His first goal for the club that he's supported as a boy. And then Van Veen, who got the winner, well, the second goal in 55 minutes. So the Premiership looks like this. Rangers on 48 points, Celtic just behind on 41, Hearts on 33, Motherwell 28 points. As the teams come back out at Hampden Park, 0-0. Craig, what are you thinking for the second half then? We're just looking to see if there's any changes.
Yeah, I doubt there'll be any changes. You know, normally 15 minutes in, you start to see a few substitutes being made. But look, it's game on. It wasn't a fantastic first half. Celtic were the better side. But the longer that half went, Hibs probably looked a little bit more comfortable. How's this going to go the second half? Hibs can have a real go. And Celtic, as we touched on, a light bench in terms of players that can come on and make that impact. So it's game on.
I think Hibs will just try and stay in the game, Craig. Try and get into the last quarter 0-0 and hope they can nick something. Maybe be a little bit more adventurous in the last quarter of the game.
Yeah, because the concern if they were, it's never a concern when you go one goal up, but you do that and it happens earlier.
Too early, yeah.
You tend to maybe try to defend that lead, and that may actually work in the favour of Celtic if that was to happen.
What would AP have said at half-time, Davey? What would your team talk be?
I'm not sure there's too many options, Paul. I think normally in a game like this where so few chances are being made, I think any Celtic manager would be looking to his bench to try and freshen things up, get somebody on who can provide a little bit more penetration. I don't think he has that, and I don't think he will have it until the window opens, until he can bring 2 or 3 in. You've got to go with what he has. They're right down to the bare bones. The Turnbull injury is the last thing he needs, although Beaton is a really good replacement, I think, to come on. But for all the possession Celtic have had, they just lack penetration. And that's not just this afternoon, that's a familiar story now. So much possession, but not turning it into anything.
As it comes forward to Kyogo, into the box, tries to shoot. Good tackle there by skipper Hanlon, goes for the corner kick, Craig.
That's it. Look, it's a great chance, but I've got to say, I think it was a foul earlier. Kyogo, as he breaks here, he plays a ball, it's short, he clips Porteous's heels, and then he's free, and then it comes an opportunity. But again, blocked well by Hanlon. Corner for Celtic.
Corner for Celtic. Kyogo is involved in everything, isn't he? You have to you need eyes everywhere to keep check on him. So Juranovic with the corner. 46.5 minutes gone. Celtic corner kick. Juranovic to the near post. It's flicked on there. Is it Mikey Johnson? Tries to get the cross in. It's cleared. Is that Nisbet back defending Davy Provan?
Starfelt gets clear again at the front post. I think it's Portis who's picking him up at set pieces. But again, Starfelt has had a free run to the front post. The corner couldn't find him, but there's a problem there for Hibs, who are man-to-man marking. It should be touch tight, but whoever's marking Starfelt is slipped in again there. This was the Kyogo trip on Ryan Porteous we're seeing now. Accidental, but it certainly should have been a free kick for Hibs.
Yeah, it definitely was accidental, but the referee misses it. In the end, it's not impacted on the game. Celtic trying to work at the edge of the box here. Yeah, they got their corner, but the Hibs defended it well enough.
If it had been a goal, then they'd be saying, "Oh, VAR would have seen it."
There would have been a few complaints. I've no doubt about that.
It's the Scottish League Cup final, 21-22 Premier Sports final. Celtic trying to fashion something here down the left. Tackle there. 2 players have gone down. We'll just see in the close-up who's involved. In fact, it's is that Paul McGinn?
Paul McGinn
has gone down.
Greg Taylor.
Yeah.
Oof. They've just both collided.
They're both down.
Then knees banging off each other, but it looked a sore one, and they both went down and kind of stayed down. McGinn still holding his knee there.
His brother's just
wincing for him.
Indeed.
John saying, "I'll go on for him if we can't continue."
Oof, that was a sore one. Well spotted. The Pat Stanton spot was terrific.
I hope it was him.
Indeed. Moving on. The physios are on. So 0-0. Just looking at yesterday, I did want to say to you, what about Motherwell now? Do you think they're going to be in a position to stay top 6 and maybe push for that 4th spot behind Hearts this year?
Why not? I mean,
or 3rd.
Yeah, they're having a fantastic season. You know, put a decent run together. Manager has got a couple of awards already, I believe, this season. Graham Alexander. You know, Van Veen. They have a real striker there that knows how to score. Obviously, picked up the 2nd goal yesterday. Tony Watt, 9 goals, doing really, really well. So, see, when you're thereabouts and you've got people that can score goals, it gives you a great opportunity. And Motherwell doing very well.
Paul McGinn back in his feet. I see Chris Cadden warming up. And we'll see if it's going to be a change. Davey, what's your thoughts 4 minutes into it? Celtic haven't...
Well, it'll be interesting to see Paul McGinn can continue. He's a hardy boy, but he's limping quite heavily here. David Gray's already, as you said, Paul, got Chris Cadden ready to come on, who could play right side. But I think we'll get to a stage in the game where Doidge will come on for Hibs. They're not getting their 2 front players into the game. Bring Doidge on, they can miss out the midfield. He holds them, not the quickest, but he holds it up really well, and he'll get Hibs further up the pitch. I've been saying since the beginning of the game, Hibs sat far too deep. Back 4 can't squeeze the game. They're stretching the game for the midfield. Although they have just won a corner here. Starfelt with the header. Long ball from Macy in the Hibs goal. Starfelt ends up underneath it and has conceded a corner here, about to be taken by Martin Boyle. Porteous has gone up. McGinn's gone up. Hanlon's there.
Yeah, I think we know what's happened there. The sound is ahead of it. The ball comes into the box and it's a goal for Hibs. Yep, John Beaton says yes, it's just gone over the line. The keeper tried to pull it back out, but Hibs, and it's Paul Hanlon, the skipper.
And he gets away from Starfelt. It's Starfelt who's picking him up at the corner. Celtic, like Hibs, going man for man marking. Starfelt has allowed Paul Hanlon to run off him, and Hibs are 1 up.
Hanlon does really, really well. We spoke about his position in the first half. Here he gets a good clean run, loses Starfelt, attacks the ball well. In the end, it does go over the line. I'm not sure who's trying to get back there. Is Jelavranovic trying to get back to keep it from going in? But the ball's in the air for a long, long time. I'm thinking, is that goalkeeper territory? Davey?
I think it is. When he heads it, he's no more than 4 or 5 yards out.
And
and Joe Hart's got nobody blocking him off as well. Joe Hart could have a run at that and get his fist on it, take the pressure off his defenders. He didn't come. And Paul Hanlon has gambled. He's run off Starfelt. Poor defending from Starfelt. And Hibs have nicked a goal.
It's different. You know when the ball's delivered and it's whipped.
As Celtic come forward, chance for Celtic onto Kyogo. Kyogo into the box, shoots, scores. They're claiming offside, Hibs. The ball is in the back of the net. It's 1-1. Kyogo. 60 seconds later, as the mist comes down, it's Kyogo screaming at his fellow players. Suddenly it's 1-1, Davey.
Yeah, long ball again from Celtic. Kyogo inside left channel, totally unmarked. Gets it out his left side. Terrific finish. And Hibs have just been done for poor concentration here after scoring.
What did I say?
He's in behind Porteous. I think it's Porteous who loses Kyogo completely. It's a terrific first touch.
Great finish.
He's done Macy at his near post. Lovely little inside of the foot finish. beats the goalkeeper at his near post. Terrific finish.
Well, we're talking about quite a dull first half, and in the space of a minute, you know, when Hibs going up 1-0, how important the next 5 to 10 minutes are to hang on to that lead within 30 seconds. It was virtually from kickoff, I believe. Kyogo, great finish. Once he gets in behind the Hibs defence, his composure to pick that near post area. 1-1, and certainly looks to be a better second half, Paul.
Yeah, the Premier Sports replays were on, Davey. It was still the replays of the Hibs goal. And then the next thing, well, we heard the cheers coming in, and it was a Celtic equaliser. So 1-1, 52.5 minutes gone as Rogic tries to dance his way, and he does into the box. It's still Rogic. Beats one, beats two. Does he win the corner?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. But I tell you what,
he could have gone down, couldn't he?
Potentially could have been, contact and goes to ground, and there would be a penalty claim. He's so good with his feet there. You see him shifting it. Makes it very difficult for defenders. Unfortunately for Celtic, goes out. Goal kick for Hibs.
Yeah, Macy going to launch it here, but stunning start to the second half. I said that the game needed a goal. Didn't expect two in a minute, but it should make it a better game now.
Certainly should. Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre, watching as Hibs come forward. Now it's gone from end to end now, Craig, isn't it? It's like a different game. As Joe Hart, the ball's played back to him, and everyone's blood pressure goes up a little bit. The Hibs fans and neutrals hope something's going to happen, but no, he clears it up to Rogic. Rogic through, and chance for Mikey Johnson, but couldn't get anything behind it. Davies all the way back to the goalkeeper, Macy.
Good pass from Rogic to find Mikey Johnson, who had come off the left touch line into the inside left channel. Just couldn't get the ball out of his feet to give himself the chance to get the shot away. But the game is so stretched at the moment. Astonishing how stretched it is.
Yeah, well, again, we just kind of started the second half, and the impact of that early goal, and then straight away reply. But very open. And at this rate, I'm sure we'll see more goals as Hibs look to deliver into the box there, cleared by Carter Vickers. But yeah, very open in this second half.
Going back to the Hibs goal though, Davey, Starfelt was involved giving away the corner kick, which I thought was unimpressive, the header, and then the corner itself as Hibs come forward again, but it's headed away down to the feet of Beaton. He plays it forward to his captain Callum McGregor. But Davey,
I'm not being wise after the event, Paul. I've questioned the ability of Starfelt from day one, and he's caught under the ball to concede the corner, and he basically he's allowed Paul Hanlon to run off him. He's meant to be picking Paul Hanlon up. He's allowed him to a free run at the ball, and for a centre back, that's unforgivable.
Kyogo, but tenacious there, Craig, wasn't he, to win the ball?
Well, I'm saying he's looking after himself in the first half.
Yep.
That's him in a nut. He just, the way he works when Celtic don't have the ball, he ends up robbing Hibs and puts Celtic in a great attacking position. So second half, he started off well. He's lively. He's raking the run in behind, got a fantastic goal, but his work rate off the ball there, as we've just seen, back to what we know.
Edinburgh 1, Glasgow 1. That doesn't work that way, does it? It's Hibs 1, Celtic 1. Serious business of the Cup Final 2021, the League Cup Final. Mikey Johnson, how's he done for you, Craig, given that he's been in and out with injuries?
Look, I like Mikey Johnson as a player. When you've had injuries and you're in and out, it's hard to get that consistency. But he's a good player, Paul. He's a good player. He's a good winger. He's very positive. He's direct. He gets at fullbacks, and he has a lot of joy, as he did in the early stages of the first half. I think he's done okay. Lee
Labada tries to slip it through to Kyogo. Comes off Porteous, goes back to the goalkeeper. Davey.
Clever balling from Abada here. Could have been tempted just to throw a hopeful one into the box, but he's seen Kyogo just checking his run at the penalty spot. Tried to pick him out. Porteous did well to put a bit of squeeze on Kyogo there. But getting back to the Celtic goal, Kyogo, that's as good a two-touch finish as you'll see. Took a wonderful first touch, got turned, and he's just passed it, past Macy at his near post. It's a fabulous piece of composure there from the Japanese striker.
5 minutes ago you said the Hibs, they need to get up the park. They got up the park and they got a goal from that move, and they're back up the park again. They've got a throw in at the far side. Hibs 1, Celtic 1. Craig Moore.
How many times do we see in football, though? You get your nose in front. David Gray would have been absolutely delighted. And within 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you concede straight away. So he'd be devastated with that. We see it so many times in football, but not surprised with this Celtic side because they never give up, and they're back in the game straight away.
I mean, if Hibs were to win it, you would say David Gray 100% record. Well, they drew one game, then he won the league game, and if he was to win today, but well, that's ifs, buts and maybes as Celtic tried to come forward. Tom Rogic, arguably the most influential player so far, him and Callum McGregor.
The two of them. I said before the game, Callum McGregor's always at least 7 out of 10. He's been outstanding today, and so has Rogic as well. Greg Taylor trying to find Kyogo here in the channel. Porteous gets it away for Hibs, but they just can't. Nothing's sticking. Anything that's played up to Nisbet and Boyle is not sticking. It's just coming straight back at them.
You're looking at potentially as the game goes on. It is quite open, so you expect something to happen, but at the same time, is it a mistake, or something like that? That's sort of like that final goal. It is open enough. You're hoping that there's more goals, but it might just be that one decisive mistake that decides this cup final.
You enjoying the game, Craig?
I'm enjoying the second half. I enjoy any final. Like it says, the first half was a little bit cagey. Celtic were the better side. Hibs managed to come into it a little bit more, but the second half has been fantastic. A proper cup final.
As Celtic now come forward up over the halfway line, and near Beaton plays it forward, but too much on it for Kyogo, and not even the Burners would get close to that when it goes back all the way to Macy. What words have we had from you today? We got donuts.
You got donuts.
Donuts.
What else? I don't know if I've thrown anything
not
else
too
about
many.
yet.
A couple of tinnies.
A couple of tinnies. That was
A
you.
couple of tinnies.
You like a couple of tinnies,
Well, I
Dave?
remember that from my time in Australia. I had a few tinnies over there, I can tell you.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I love about the beer in Australia. It's ice cold. The
Yeah, you said.
lager in Australia.
Yeah. It's got to be.
Fabulous.
Davey, would you have a wee beer tonight if your old club
Yeah,
win
of course,
win the title?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how it feels to be there at Hampden and win a cup. It's a great feeling, wonderful feeling.
You still get excited on a cup final day?
Yeah, of course you do. And I would think the difference is at Celtic, you win the cup, the next day it's over. It's all about the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the successful clubs. That's the way it is.
As Celtic come forward looking for goal number 2, the 1-1 couldn't get the shot away. Craig, for you, the celebrations went on.
Yeah,
Remember, you enjoyed a few.
Nah, you look, you've got to, and that's one thing I do not regret in terms of sometimes you don't get that opportunity. It never comes back, Paul. So when you win that, if you're fortunate enough to win a cup final, you've got to be able to enjoy it, because 20 years later, it's a memory.
Corner kick for Celtic, Davy Provan.
Yeah, Juranovic, it's a corner on the right, going to be an outswinger here. Again, Hibs, it's all man for man marking, so you've got to get tight here. Good corner into the front post. Carter Vickers trying to attack it, doesn't quite get anything on it. McGregor now gets it wide. Tom Rogic, Macy underneath it there, seemed to get his angles wrong there and looked as if he might be in bother for a moment. Thought for a moment Tom Rogic had done him at his far post.
Birthday boy the other day, 29 years
29.
old. Craig, you're just watching this one again.
Yeah, look, it works against Tommy a little bit, although it's a good effort. I don't know whether it's looking at a cross or it's a shot, but because he's on the opposite, does get a touch as well, but the left foot, it's kind of curling away.
Here comes the corner.
Oh, it's another great chance, and it's
Starfelt again.
Starfelt again. I don't think he gets himself free, Davey. He gets himself free.
He's got to score, Craig. He's got to score. Again, he's managed to get away from Porteous. Terrible marking from Porteous. But, he's 5 yards out. He's got to put his forehead on that and score. It's a terrific chance again. Great corner from Juranovic. Just bends it into the front post. Loads of pace on it. Anything on target, he scores.
Craig?
He's got to at least hit the target. He gets himself free in a really good area. Should be scoring.
He's involved there, but it's Hibs coming forward. There's a bit of a push on Nisbet, but the game continues. Played all the way back. It's going to be a throw-in for Hibs. How long have we played? In fact, we've played over an hour now. 61 minutes in the cup final. Hibs won. Celtic won. It certainly came alight there, didn't it? In 51 minutes, Paul Hanlon opening the scoring, the captain for Hibs. And then 60 seconds later, Kyogo striking for Celtic. 1-1.
I wonder if David Gray is bold enough to make the change now. I'd certainly be thinking about getting Doige on. Does he stick or twist? How ambitious is David Gray? That's the question.
You would. And who would you take off, Davey?
I would take off probably the man on the ball at the moment, Jamie Murphy. Actually put a decent ball into the box here, but he's not been in that at all. You wouldn't take Nisbet or Boyle off, that's for sure.
Hibs coming forward, seeing a bit more of the ball in the second half. It's still been mainly Celtic, but it's 1-1. 62 minutes gone. It's going to be a free kick. Martin Boyle has gone down, feels he was clattered there. And, well, Celtic last season and some of this season, defensive frailties, Davy, at the set pieces.
Yeah, it's Mikey Johnson who's made a tackle with the wrong foot, with the outside of his right foot. He's brought Martin Boyle down. Really nice angle here for Hibs. It's 18 yards from the corner flag, but out in the wide area, about 2 yards in from the touchline. And once again, it's given Hibs bigger targets a chance to go up into the Celtic penalty area. Martin Boyle been told to replace the ball a bit further out than he was trying to take it from. It's all about the ball in here. Martin Boyle going to take it right-footed, be coming away from Joe Hart. It's a poor ball in, doesn't clear the first defender. Cleared by Callum McGregor.
So another throw in to Hibs, although the Celtic defence has been criticised quite rightly this season. They've only lost 11 goals in the league. Rangers lost 14. Rangers on 48 points, Celtic on 41. 2 weeks today. Well, Judgment Day will have come and gone. It will be looking over the ruins of that by then to see what's happened. Craig Moore as Hibs come forward, because that's then a lot could happen between now and then. And is that Starfelt heading away again? But
that's not a great header.
What's it
again.
A 50 fence
head like a biscuit tin.
But it's strange, isn't it? As Hibs come forward, trying to get the ball into the box. But Joe Hart, question marks about his defending at the goal. He didn't come for it.
It wasn't a ball that was whipped in. So the ones that are whipped in with real pace, it was hung up in the air. Yeah. I think it was something that he can come and take, for sure.
He's 6'4", isn't he?
It's massive, yeah. It's a poor goal to concede. You talk about set pieces. It's a poor one to concede.
Davy, Celtic coming down the left now.
Yeah, Mikey Johnson coming in off the left-hand side, plays it to Rogic. Hibs, so many players go side, though. Celtic having to really work to try and manufacture any space at all. They try to find Juranovic on the right-hand side. Goes behind for a goal kick. We've gone almost 64 minutes. One each, and who's going to make the change? Who's going to blink first here?
Look at Juranovic there, though. He picked up the ball and threw it back to the Hibs goalkeeper. It just shows you his appetite. I mean, normally you'd go back, get back in position, draw a breath.
Wants to get on with it. Macy in no hurry at all to take this, strangely enough.
Yeah, it's look at for Celtic. I don't think Celtic will be making the first change. Because
I don't think they have a change.
No obvious they don't have those changes. I think Celtic or Ange will be looking to keep them out there as long as he possibly can to hopefully try and turn the game in their favour. But again, Hibs, is there any rush at this moment in time? I don't think there needs to be.
You think they should leave it late? Because you did say that about if Hibs scored too early, then Celtic might fight back. That's what did happen.
I didn't expect 30 seconds though.
No, exactly. You thought at least a minute and a half. Still 1-1, 65 minutes gone. Much better second half, certainly if for the neutral. Celtic had most of the possession in the first half, but not many chances at all. A couple of chances. Macy spilled one of them. Taylor had a chance. Starfelt, opportunity with a header.
Best chance.
Yep. As Celtic come down the left. And Starfelt, he's certainly been involved in so much of it, Davy, hasn't he?
Well, he lost Paul Hanlon for the goal. He's had two terrific chances at the front post from corners, missed both of them. It's not an afternoon he will want to remember if Celtic end up losing this.
Ryan Porteous clears it upfield. Celtic winning the ball, playing it forward. It's Rogic 25 yards out. On his right, he's got Lil Abada. Abada plays it back in looking for Kyogo. Goes out for the corner kick. Craig Moore.
I was expecting Abada to come back in on his left foot and maybe look to get a shot off. He tries to feed it back into the box where Celtic do have a couple of bodies. Rogic continues his run, but weak in the end.
Yeah, didn't want to take on it his left side, did he? He could have taken a touch, opened the target up, but didn't really want to hit it with his left foot, I don't think. Juranovic not being allowed to take the corner at the moment. Linesman gives him the okay now. Is Starfelt going to get another chance here? Because he keeps losing Ryan Porteous at the front post. Juranovic again with the corner. Going to be an outswinger. Last couple have been terrific balls in. Have I given him the kiss of doom here? That's another decent one. Comes in much deeper this time. Rogic in the edge of the box to Callum McGregor. Back to Rogic. Gets it out his left side. Gets a shot away. And it's deflected for a corner.
Concerted pressure from Celtic now looking to get their first trophy in, well, it was almost exactly a year ago, wasn't it? Almost to the day. It was the Scottish Cup final from the season before, which was delayed because of COVID. The game with Hearts, which went all the way, didn't it? Went to extra time. As we watch the corner kick, Craig Moore is going to be taken at the far side.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not taking the corner, but yeah, no, as the corner's coming in. But it's been that it's consistent near post delivery, hasn't it? And then even when it's gone to the back post, this one comes to the back post. Macy does well to hold it, but the previous couple, it's gone to the back post and it's fell to Tommy Rogic, who's been able to keep it alive for Celtic and continue that pressure. Celtic look as if they have some momentum in this now.
Still 1-1.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Don't miss out on huge savings on your new taxi. Available exclusively to the taxi trade.
Let's go! 69 minutes on the clock in the Cup final. Hibs 1, Celtic 1 at Hampden Park under the floodlights. 50,000 fans there. Who's going to take it? Craig, is it who wants it more?
Well, it's now the mentality, who really wants to go and win this game of football. I've no doubt Celtic will believe in themselves. Do Hibs really believe they can go and win this football match? I don't know, but Nisbet had a wonderful opportunity only a few minutes ago. A game we've spoken about Starfelt a lot. He twisted and turned, caused him all sorts of problems. Joe Hart makes a really good save.
Good save by the former England keeper, Davey.
Yeah, it was. He had to be a really quick feet. Scott Allen about to be introduced, I think, for Hibs, getting final instructions from Craig Sampson there on the bench. So David Gray, we wondered, whether he would stick or twist. 70 minutes gone, he's about to bring Scott Allen on. Scott Allen could be a game changer.
We did mention him earlier.
Yeah.
He's somebody that could cause that Celtic defence, and Starfelt is having a tough time.
He's having a shocker.
Wouldn't you take him off?
I'd be very tempted to take him off and get young Stephen Welsh on. He's been all over the place today, the Swede.
Free kick for Hibs. He slips as he goes to take it. The ball into the box. It's headed on and headed away by Labada as Rogic brings it down the right for Celtic. Craig, would you change Starfelt? He is having a really tough time.
Look, if the manager thinks that he's having that bad a game, then potentially that is a substitution that you would make. Otherwise, you wouldn't normally try to tinker with the back four.
Good defending there by Juranovic, who put in a good tackle.
He's a proper player, Juranovic. Yeah. I don't know what Celtic paid, $2.5 million for him. He's a proper fullback, and I'm glad he's playing right side. Anthony Ralston probably wouldn't agree, but.
And Celtic coming forward, Kyogo on his own, 1-on-1 with the keeper, lobs the keeper, gets the goal. Is it going to stand? They're looking for offside, but Kyogo takes, in fact the Celtic subs are there. Celtic are back in the lead. Hibs 1, Celtic 2, it's Kyogo.
Inside right channel ball. Hibs caught with a very similar ball forward from the one that led to the first goal. Ball in behind the two centre-backs, not sure where Porteous and Hanlon are as the ball's played into the channel. And Kyogo sees Macy off his line. One touch this time. First goal was a two-touch finish. One touch enough here. Little dink over Macy's head. Celtic 2-1 up.
That's a great finish. It really is. And I mean, with question marks about his fitness before the game. Look, he's making that run in behind that he loves to make. Great awareness. Execution, brilliant. 2 goals for Kyogo. 2-1.
Such a
Celtic.
Clever, quick free kick from Tom Rogic. Hibs had just switched off. Rogic put the ball down, saw the run, played it early, and Kyogo has come up with the finish to match. Fabulous finish.
Hibs will be kicking themselves. The 2 goals, don't get me wrong, to take nothing away from the finishes of Kyogo. They've been wonderful finishers, but defensively, really switching off, as you touch on there, Davey. It's poor defending, and you can't get away with it, not with a player like Kyogo.
Murphy's gone off. Scott Allen comes on for Hibs. Will it be too late, or will it be his moment? What a moment for Kyogo, Davey. That was all the headlines. Would he make it today? You said the other night on the programme, I think he will. And my goodness, 2 goals.
I think what he's demonstrated today again, Paul, is his importance. I've said if they lose this boy for any length of time through injury, Celtic will not win the league. That's the league season over. If he was to get a hamstring injury again, a bad one, Celtic can forget about the title. That's how important that boy is to the team right now.
And you're not saying that with him they will win it, but they definitely won't without him.
A much better chance if they can keep him fit, and he will score regularly. He is Celtic's best bet for the title.
The ball was played through to him there. Would there be a hat trick on for him? Scott Allen has come on. Craig, what are you thinking now? 16 minutes to go, plus stoppages. You said 5 minutes ago, who wants it more?
Yeah, and again, in terms of, you need to be focused, you need to be concentrated. Kyogo, Tommy Rogic to do that quick free kick certainly were. And they put themselves in a wonderful position. Hibs have got absolutely nothing to lose now. Allen come on, who's a fantastic player, very intelligent. Celtic also making a substitution.
Yeah, Greg
now.
Taylor going off, and we'll just see who's coming on for Celtic. David, we're keeping an eye on it. It's Tony Ralston. He's come on.
Yeah, I would imagine Juranovic would then go to left back if Tony Ralston's coming on. I don't see Tony Ralston playing left back. Juranovic, in fact, has gone to left back, so it's still a back four. But Juranovic, who's played most of the season at left back, has switched sides.
Tom Rogic, which if the game stopped now would probably be the other contender for man of the match, along with Kyogo, because his quick thinking there for Celtic made that difference. That plus a wonderful, just a one-touch strike from Kyogo.
Yeah, look, it's a wonderful finish. Wonderful finish. Again, the awareness from Rogic, but the execution, the awareness for Kyogo, making that run in behind, fantastic.
Celtic, a bit of a misunderstanding. The ball's going out of play. It's going to be a throw-in. Just showing again the incident with Paul Hanlon and the Celtic player. Just trying to see it. And then I'm showing you part of it's a wee bit different camera work. The mixing's a wee bit different, Davey. It's yeah.
I don't know what they were trying to show us there. I don't know who the director is. I think he's been out for a couple of beers last night, but hey ho. Tony Ralston just leaving his calling card there on one of the Hibs players, and Hibs have to go on with us now. A real sense of urgency now, and I'm amazed that Doidge isn't on. You know, they've got to get the ball forward now, get it forward early, and Doidge would give them a great target.
Paul McGinn has a yellow card. I thought maybe they were going to. He took a clatter earlier on, but he's just got the yellow card there. And we'll look for any changes then for Hibs. So we're in the last 14 minutes of the game, but it's Celtic coming out of defence. Carl Starfelt doing well there. It's Craig, you're smiling, but he did well on that occasion.
No, done offside there for Hibs. You know, done very well. He intercepted and given Celtic some breathing space. But look, it's a tough ask in this match now for Hibs, but they will definitely have a go. It's just whether or not Celtic can be strong enough, because there will be that threat. Hibs will definitely have a go.
Just seeing that movement of Kyogo again, and the strike is second to make it 2-1.
So even there as well. So there's a couple of things that you can do to stop it. Someone's got to stand on the ball to stop that quick free kick.
Yeah.
And also from where that free kick's being taken, Macy can be a lot higher as well.
Mm-hmm.
Celtic going down the left, Davy Provan, 2-1 up.
I also think Paul McGinn could get round a bit, Craig. He's the one who can see the long ball being played and the runner. Not sure where Portis and Hanlon are, but certainly I think Paul McGinn a little bit more aware of the run.
Celtic
but it's Kyogo at his very best. You know, his movement is different class.
And Celtic maintaining possession now, Davy, aren't they? They look confident, they look up for it. They're 2-1 up as they break into the box. Callum McGregor, but he's dispossessed one of the few times this afternoon. And Martin Boyle trying to, and he is a game changer, isn't he, Boyle? But we've not seen much of him in the second half, Davy.
He's not been in it at all. We saw flashes in the first half where he took the ball for a run, but they've not really managed to get him on the ball at all. And any time he has been on it, Celtic have been very, very quick to close him down.
Hey, look, Hibs, they've kind of hung in the game. They've not had a standout performer as such. They've hung in the game, but they've got their noses in front, and then Celtic straight away got up the park and score. So the big moments at the moment in terms of the concentration and focus haven't been there for Hibs.
Davey, you're calling the Hibs substitutes?
Yeah, Christian Doidge. I'm surprised it's taken so long. They've really got to get the ball forward now, and if they're going to be doing that, they need a target, someone to take the ball in, and Doidge is your man.
78 minutes gone in the League Cup, the Scottish Premier Sports Cup final 2021-22.
Just wonder who'll take it off, Paul, mate. Yeah. I mean, is he going to take Kevin Nisbet off? A big call to do that.
As they come forward down the left, Hibs trying to fashion something here. It's Lewis Stevenson gets the cross in, but comes off Tony Ralston. That's going to be a corner kick. Or is it? We're seeing such a close-up, it's hard to tell. Too many close-ups, Davey, that's the thing.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell what's happening in the game. Yeah.
I think they've given a throw in. Lewis Stevenson thought it was a corner. It's a throw and he takes it short to Nisbet. Stevenson gets a good cross in. Nisbet helps it into the 6-yard box, but Tony Ralston's there again to clear up the pitch. Kyogo up there on his own now. Celtic can play on the counter now, and it's going to be a double change for Hibs.
Double substitute coming on as the Celtic fans sing Last Christmas to the Postecoglou words.
Yes.
Is he a singer?
I don't know if he's a singer. If he does it in private.
He might be today if they win the cup, but there's still 11 minutes to go, and it's Hibs now coming down the left, looking to play it forward to Nisbet, who goes up, but it falls there for Mikey Johnson, who's back defending, and he breaks forward, and he does well there. Juranovic is well involved, as Celtic wearing all green today, up against Hibs wearing all white. It's as if they've almost swapped strips. As Paul Hanlon, he's been the best player so far, Davy, for you for Hibs.
He's been exactly what you'd expect of him. A real leader, real captain's performance again from him today. Carter Vickers manages to save the corner. The Hibs just about to get a corner, but he kept the ball in. Good ball up the pitch. Barra loses it though. Celtic have really got to look after the ball a bit better than they are at the moment. Now, got to manage the game. They've done the hard work. Here's Stevenson now for Hibs. A poor cross hung up at the back post, takes everyone out of the game. And Celtic get it away. I think they're going to get a free kick for the challenge on Mikey Johnson. Free kick or a throw in on the far side. Either way, the game is stopped. And Celtic can now start to run the clock down in the last 10 minutes.
Double substitution look as if it's going to be made now for Hibs. They've got to have a go now, you know, in terms of the players that they're going to bring off. We see Stevenson's off for Doig. And for Doig, is it Murphy? Is it Murphy that's come off? But they've got to have a real go here to try and get back into this match. As long as it's not just continual long balls, though, Davey. Yeah. It still needs to be a plan and a strategy to use Doig to full effect. And it's Murphy that did come off as well.
We'll round up England as well for you. We've kept you up to date throughout the afternoon. Man City taking the points. As Davey, you just spotted something there.
I think young Moffat about to come on for Celtic here with 9.5 minutes left.
9.5 minutes in the
cup
final.
John Kennedy and Ange Postecoglou deep in conversation there. And it was Kyogo who was looking over at the bench there. I just wonder if his hamstring tightens at all, they can't really afford to take any chances on a hat-trick or not.
And Chelsea, well, the old phrase would be sharing the points. They've dropped points again this afternoon, Stuart. Yeah, at Wolves 0-0, and Man City, they've battered Newcastle. Yeah. And what about Tottenham and Liverpool? 10 minutes gone, 0-0. Who do you fancy in that one, Davey? Is that a leading question? Spurs against Liverpool?
Spurs, can Spurs put a team out? That's the question with the COVID situation down there just now.
Liverpool all day long. Yeah. Mo Salah on fire, scoring every game, every other game. Liverpool will be too strong.
Tuchel will be very unhappy. It's been a tough 10 days, 2 weeks for him, as Celtic make a change, and it's going to be Liam Scales coming on. And what's going on there with the referee? There's John Beaton is giving a red card to Mikey Johnson. I haven't seen it in the camera work here. I don't know what's happened.
Yellow?
Yeah, it's a yellow. Sorry, yellow. Yeah.
But I think, the substitution looks as if it was going to be made. Maybe he was taking a little bit of time in terms of trying to
go off. Yeah. To
come off.
Did we say something else? It is a yellow. Yeah,
it's
definitely yellow for Mikey Johnson. Liam Scales comes on. Scored the other week, Davey, when he was on. Liam Scales, who's come on, and Kyogo going off. So he's played 82 minutes. He's done his bit, hasn't he?
He has done his bit. Yeah. And, I think at this stage in the game, you don't want to take any chances of that hamstring going again. He's, as I said earlier, he's far too important.
Yeah, but there is a concern, David, because now with those changes that have been made, I think it's going to be Hibs really having a crack at Celtic and Celtic holding on. I think when you've got Kyogo still on there, that threat to be able to really finish a game, I think it's probably, time will tell whether it's a great substitution or not.
He's done his bit. He takes his seat beside the Celtic coaching staff. Stevie Wood's giving him a handshake there. What a good day it's been. His first Scottish League Cup final, and he's scored a brace. Not a bad day's work.
And David Turnbull was smiling there a few moments ago, David, and that was good to see. And Craig, for coming off of that, he was so distraught earlier on.
Yeah, well, it is nice to see, obviously, because he hasn't been involved as much as what he would have liked, but happy for his teammate, and they're in a position where they can still lift a trophy.
It's going to be the trumpet now, isn't it, for Hibs? The cavalry charge has to be on for the last 7 minutes of play, and they come forward down the right. The Australian international Martin Boyle, Scales goes with him. He gets the cross in to the far post. Scott Allen gets his first touch.
Tony Ralston did well to get narrow there and get his head on the ball. It was a good running cross there from Martin Boyle. We haven't seen enough of that from him. Here comes Celtic though on the counter. I think it's Greg Taylor. Trying to make the run. Oh, breaks for Tommy Rogic. Oh, what a chance. It's Macy who, at full length, full stretch, manages to get a glove on it and gets it behind for a corner.
Good transition.
Yeah, very open. Very, very open. And it finally falls to Rogic. Defender does enough, but it goes through legs. Macy makes a good save.
So Juranovic coming forward, just taking his time this time. 10 minutes ago, Davey.
He's delivered some terrific corners, Juranovic, particularly from this side. He just bends him into the front post. I just wonder if Starfelt will get in the end of this. Tony Ralston wants to take it short, and with just 5.5 minutes left, they have taken it short. Just trying to manage the game here, run the clock down, Celtic. No hurry to put the ball in the box. Ralston just shielding the ball at the corner. A bit of wrestling going on here.
Oh, and someone else has come in there. Look out for Ryan Porteous getting involved. It's Scott Allen there with him. 5 minutes to go plus. Well, could it be Anthony Ralston time? 7 minutes added.
I was just laughing there because I know what happened back in the day when someone tried to protect the ball like that in the corner.
What happened? Bang.
They got everything.
Yeah.
They got everything. But he's a strong boy, Ralston there. He was holding it. He's a strong boy.
So it's Juranovic again. Hibs 1, Celtic 2. 4.5 minutes left in the League Cup final. High ball into the box, headed away. Still in the edge of the box. Callum McGregor says, hey, I'll take it. Plays it out to the right to Juranovic. Juranovic looks, he's got... in fact, he's taken it to just where Ralston had it, but he's lost it this time, hasn't he, Craig? And Hibs will clear because the clock... But this will suit Celtic, still with Celtic. Back with Callum McGregor. Craig, Celtic are doing well to keep possession.
Keeping possession, taking the sting out of the game, managing the game, which is, again, probably an area of improvement for Ange's teams because they're normally gung-ho, bang, 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 but trying to keep the ball, take the sting out of this match.
There's a goal. Tottenham against Liverpool. Guess who scored?
You're going to hit me with Tottenham, aren't you?
Great. Oh, yeah, you know me too well now. And the striker is Harry Kane.
Harry.
Yep. He's back. So, Harry Kane has scored. Let's see what happens here. Carter Vickers lost possession, so it's a throw in for Hibs. Hibs coming forward. Down goes Starfelt. Your pal's not happy there, is he?
No, it's Doidge who's just caught him in the back there. Starfelt needed no encouragement to go down. He's clever there, the centre back. Buys a free kick from John Beaton, and what we got now, 3.5 minutes of normal time left.
Yep.
David Gray out in the touchline, not happy with the decision. And he certainly won't be happy with the manner of the 2 goals this team have lost.
And it was a free kick. It was a free kick, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
Starfelt gets himself in the right position. Doidge does give him a nudge.
Craig Moore with his medal here today. Thought it might go to extra time. It could still. There's 3 minutes remaining. Just 1 goal in it. 2-1 Celtic. Both coming from Kyogo. Hibs took the lead just early in the second half. Paul Hanlon in 51 minutes. Within a minute, Celtic had equalised through Kyogo. And then a moment of magic from the Japanese striker. The Japanese boy made it 2-1 in 72 minutes. 2.5 minutes away, plus injury time from Ange Postecoglou. If it's too early to say, let's wait and see what happens.
How many minutes of stoppage are we thinking?
4.
Yeah,
I would reckon 4, maybe 3. Let's see. Here comes who else? It's going to be Rogic or McGregor. It's McGregor. Tries to play it forward for Moffat. Young Moffat came on for Celtic there as well.
Mate, both changes on the same side. Scales for Taylor and Moffat for Mikey Johnson. So Celtic down the left side, both substitutes playing out in that touchline now. And Hibs really struggling to make anything of this now. You would think they would be trying to get it forward a bit quicker, but Celtic have pressed the ball really well now, and Hibs struggling to create anything.
We'll give it another minute and then we'll ask for Craig Moore's man of the match. Moore's match winner. I guess that's a clue.
I think it's an obvious one at the moment, no?
I think so. Unless something happens here as Hibs come forward. Ball into the box. Hanlon's up there inevitably. And a header there. Comes off the post. Hibs are off the post. Celtic escaped that one. Davy Provan, a real chance there for Hibs. Almost out of nothing. Let's see it again.
It's a dink ball forward. Hanlon wins it, gets it into the back post. Nisbet goes across Joe Hart with the header, and it comes back off the face of the post. What a chance.
He's done everything right as well, hasn't he? Nisbet head it across back off the post to the follow-up, then over the bar. Big chance. Celtic hang on.
incredible. Just as we said, who was the man of the match? Well, it could still be someone else, because if it goes to extra time, then strike that. Let's wait and see. 1 minute remaining, and then we'll find out how much of injury time there is. And then at full time, if it is full time, we'll go to Joe Henry live at Hampden. And it's Hibs, almost inevitably, isn't it, as you run down the clock. So it's going to be a free kick for Hibs. Doyle Hayes over the ball.
Yeah, going to launch it. Just time to dump it in the box now for Hibs. That's exactly where it's gone. Long diagonal out to the far side. Won by Starfelt. Gets that away for the second time. The Celtic central defender scales with the next header. It's going to come back in here. Long ball again from Hibs in behind, but not even Martin Boyle is quick enough to catch that. Joe Hart lets it go for a goal kick. Time running down. 90 minutes are up now. It's all down to stoppage time now.
Done well there, Celtic, because rather than try to say, okay, we're going to defend this, they squeeze their line, and therefore Hibs have no opportunity.
I think there's 5 minutes going to be added. Yeah, there is 5 minutes. Did Celtic start trying to waste time down at the corner, maybe you normally get three minutes with the substitutions. Yeah.
If there's a little bit slower, an injury or so, 5 minutes.
Yep, 5 minutes to go. 4.5 minutes now left as Celtic look to win the first trophy of the season, and the first trophy since 2 seasons ago, though it's only a year to the day since the Scottish Cup final 2020, if you can follow us.
Yeah,
from the season before.
I got you. But look, at this moment in time, it looks we're coming into the latter stages. Again, it's not been a classic.
No.
But Kyogo has taken his two opportunities extremely well, and Hibs, from being in a winning position, concentration probably has let him down.
Tells you everything about the Celtic bench when they're bringing on young Owen Moffat that most fans haven't seen, Davy, in a cup final.
Dead ringer for Jinky.
Yes,
the diminutive figure. I don't want to burden him with comparisons right enough, but good to see him getting a chance. And it's a day, no matter how short a time he's going to play here, I'll never forget this if he gets a winner's medal.
2 minutes remaining, Craig Moore. Celtic have the ball at the other corner flag now, just trying to maintain possession, but they've lost it there, and Hibs tried to put it up to the halfway line. It hasn't reached it though, and it's Celtic coming forward. A nice, a lovely touch.
Great play for Tommy Rogic.
Plays it through. It's going to be offside, I think. No, yeah. Celtic offside there.
You like that bit of skill for Tom Rogic?
That was great. Spill. Could you explain what happened?
It's just kind of the back of his heel. He's done it off his right to his left, and a little bit of showboating, but in an area where in an attacking situation, Hibs having to go back to the goalkeeper. 92 minutes. They go long.
Up over the halfway line. Hibs coming forward. Hibs 1, Celtic 2. 2.5 minutes of injury time remaining. Referee John Beaton added on 5 minutes. And not quite sure where all of that came from. I thought 4 would have been maximum, 3 or 4. But refs seem to be doing it. This is before VAR, Davy.
Yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, Macy's launched it long here. Ralston wins the first ball. Ralston's done actually pretty well since he came on. Really strong performance at right back. Doyle Hayes now for Hibs. Again, that long diagonal out to the far side. Doidge loses the first ball to Scales there, who did well to win it. Celtic, everyone back behind the ball now, just trying to see this out, run the clock down. And it's Doig now for Hibs. Poor ball into the front post, goes behind for a goal kick. This should see Celtic over the line just about.
Joe Hart will take his time with this, Craig, won't he? He's seen so much in the game, the Man City star as he was, winning the titles with them, won just about everything in the game, and this could be his first medal here in Scotland under the new rejuvenated Celtic under Ange Postecoglou, who inherited a shambles in the summer.
A shambles, yeah. It was, yeah. But he's again, Celtic are being quite clever here, Paul, in terms of managing the game out.
Or are they?
You touch on Hart in terms of his experience coming back and not in any kind of rush. And now at the moment, Celtic player Juranovic is down for a little bit of treatment, which may just add a little bit of time. But Celtic have been comfortable once they've gone the 2-1 up and look as if they're in that position for Ange to lift his first trophy. Callum McGregor to also lift the first trophy as a captain.
To be fair to Juranovic, he's not the type to feign it. I think
I don't think he is. I don't think he's the type to go down, and I don't think there's any reason for him to try and stop the game now. Celtic just want to run the clock down. We're seeing close up here of Kyogo,
who's your man of the match?
Unsurprising is the Japanese with 2 superb finishes today. Joe Hart again trying to waste time here before he launches this long. We're well over the 5 minutes now, and I'll just be down to how much time it's added on for Juranovic being injured there.
Moore's man of the match as well. I take it you're going with.
You've got to go with Kyogo.
Yeah.
You have to. Your two goals basically won the game for your club. Kyogo, the main man.
It's Hibs play all the way back, but it's a poor clearance from Macy, and it's still Celtic in possession. Coming up over the halfway line, Tom Rogic, who probably, along with Callum McGregor, would be the challenger for that position. But let's watch now. The 95 minutes have come and gone. He will add probably a minute there for the Juranovic injury. And so we're getting deep into the time, which helped Celtic in Dingwall. Davy.
Carter Vickers, a really good clearance here. Hibs trying to find that eye of the needle pass. Carter Vickers blocks it out. Hibs now go back to Macy, who again is going to launch it long. Oh, it's a really good kick. Just need to try to get a bit of support here from midfield. Is that Porteous up there? I think it is Ryan Porteous. Oh, good save, Joe Hart at his near post, and Celtic finally get away through Beaton. What a chance.
That's a massive chance right at the end there. Poor defending, but in the end, Celtic made the save, and that looks as if it's game done as they get a final free kick. But I tell you what, right at the very end there, Hibs nearly score.
And Joe Hart saves Celtic, and he's got his thumbs up there. We're just waiting now for the whistle to go as John Beaton... No, he's still playing. We've played 96 minutes. We're into Dingwall time.
Callum McGregor over the ball here. Celtic will just try and work it into the corner here. And celebrations already beginning in the Celtic bench.
The Celtic fans waiting to celebrate their first silverware. That's the whistle. Joe Henry. We thought it was a whistle.
This game certainly needed a goal to spark it to life, and we got 2 in 60 seconds. Hibs struck first courtesy of Paul Hanlon 5 minutes after the restart. Kyogo with an immediate reply a minute later to level the scoring. Rogic just before the hour mark made Macy stretch when he whipped in a shot from the edge of the box out for a corner which Starfelt couldn't get on target. Celtic continued to press, but against the run of play, Kevin Nisbet created a chance for himself in 67 minutes, getting away from Starfelt. He just had Joe Hart to beat, who rushed the striker and managed to make the clearance. 5 minutes later, Kyogo doubled Celtic's lead. Another long ball over the top. The man from Japan chipped it over Matt Macy to make it 2-1 to Celtic. Hibs made a substitution after that. Scott Allen on for Josh Campbell. Ralston then replaced Taylor for Celtic on 75 minutes. Celtic did push for a third inside the last 10 minutes, but Kyogo wouldn't be getting his hat-trick. His shift was over on 82 minutes. He certainly fulfilled his remit today, though. Johnstone also went off, the pair replaced by Moffat and Scales. Rogic with a low, powerful drive, spilled by Macy and out for a corner on 84. A few minutes later, Hibs came close to an equaliser as Nisbet rattled the post and Hanlon blasted the rebound over. Hibs fans delighted with 5 minutes injury time, but the Easter Road side couldn't capitalise. Joe Hart did have to save Celtic deep into injury time, but Andrew Postecoglou has delivered his first piece of silverware as Celtic boss as it ends here at Hampden. Hibs 1, Celtic 2.
Joe, stay exactly where you are and we will hear the trophy presentation from you in a little while.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers. Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland mainland UK with taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go! So the first silverware of the season, it stays. Well, it comes to Glasgow because it was in Perth, of course. I was almost going to say it stays in Glasgow, comes to Glasgow. Celtic win the Premier Sports, the Scottish League Cup this afternoon. 2-1 win against Hibs and Craig Moore. How they are enjoying this moment. And a lovely moment when Kyogo there went over to the Celtic supporters to get some Celtic scarves and also the Japanese flag.
Japanese flag, yeah. Look, a very proud day for Kyogo, for Celtic Football Club, and Callum McGregor, the captain, you know, just to lift a trophy, the first opportunity of silverware in the season. And Kyogo doing basically what we have seen him do so well all season. He's so lively, so alert, making great runs in behind defence. 2 fantastic goals finishes with the man of the match performance. You know, Callum McGregor again was excellent, as was Tommy Rogic. Hibs were honest in this game. They were certainly honest and give themselves a chance by getting their noses in front. Unfortunately, in the end, Kyogo's movement has given Celtic the victory here, and they'll be delighted with that.
He's box office Kyogo, isn't he, Davey?
Yeah, I mean, he's just so important to the club. That's the point I was making about, you know, you can't afford to lose that boy. If Celtic were to lose him to injury, it would be a huge blow. You saw his value there today. And he's taught, you know, a lot of talk about Ryan Porteous, how good he's going to be in the fullness of time. He learned a lesson today against Kyogo, who was just too quick and too smart for him.
You hear the fans singing about your fellow countryman. They've taken him to his heart. I mean, he's only been in, 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And I was going to say he hadn't won anything, but he said his first chance to win something and he's done it. In your experience, Craig, how significant will this be for Ange Postecoglou?
It's massive. When you come to the big clubs in Glasgow, you know, you're talking Rangers and Celtic, the expectation is to win trophies.
Yeah.
And at the first opportunity, he's gone and lifted silverware, won his first trophy, which is fantastic. You know, the support that he'll continue now to get. I mean, he was pretty much on side with the supporters anyway. Mm-hmm. But lifting this trophy is
also, I think he's put the board under pressure now as well, Craig.
In terms of the summer, not the summer, sorry, in terms of January.
This window, I think by winning this trophy, he's put the board under real pressure. The supporters will demand that he's given more help to put a title challenge together.
He's got leverage.
It's exactly what he's got that maybe Neil Lennon didn't have with Peter Lawwell. I think Postecoglou will never be in a stronger position at the club than he is in now.
Yeah, and look, it's a fantastic start. It is a really fantastic start. He's determined. He wants to win trophies. They'll enjoy this day. And then they bounce back straight away. It's league action and we'll focus in trying to close that gap on Rangers. But you can get some momentum from lifting that first silverware throughout the season. Yep. So Celtic will get a huge lift from that, I have no doubt.
The goalkeeper being interviewed there on Premier Sports, Joe Hart. Davey, that was a significant save right at the end.
Yeah, it was a significant save. It looked for a moment as if Hibs were going to rescue right at the last. Got to say, I mean, Celtic rode the luck a little bit. Kevin Nisbet's header coming back off the face of the post. But overall, over the 90 minutes, the better team won. Hibs, I don't know, what would you give Hibs? 6.5 out of 10 for their performance today, Craig?
Yeah, look, I think, as I said, they were honest. You know, they were honest. Celtic were the better side. You know, certainly deserved winners. I think in reflection, Hibs will look at, we got ourselves in there in the game, but concentration cost us, unfortunately.
That must be the hardest thing in football when you go up for the runners-up medal. You mentioned it, Davey. That's where you don't want to be. So you feel for the Hibs players there, and David Gray, stand-in manager. As of now, the former stand-in manager. That's the referee and the linesman going up. Joe, back live there, will take us through the moment as the Celtic players get together to come forward to lift their medals and the trophy. Joe will be with us in a second or two. I would imagine it's probably bedlam there at the moment as Juranovic comes forward, and he's got the Croatian flag there as well, Davey, as he comes up first.
had a smashing game. Juranovic, proper player. Players helping themselves, not being presented because of the COVID restrictions, having to pick their own medals out of a little box there.
I know, yeah. Okay, I know. There's Joe Hart, Carl Starfelt, Vickers, Carter Vickers there on loan from Tottenham. The pictures have just gone away to the manager as the players come up. There's Owen, who came on, the sub this afternoon. David Turnbull, we all hope that he will be okay. James McCarthy picks up. And there, the last one before the captain is Ange Postecoglou picks up his winner's medal. It's a bit low key, isn't it? Is it because they can't hand it over? It just seems a bit strange.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a huge moment for Celtic. They're back, they're winners again.
Yeah,
in the League
maybe
Cup.
the start of a comeback after the disaster of last season. You know, this can maybe kickstart their campaign this season. And they're just about to. They're all on the winners' podium here. Callum McGregor putting his medal round his neck, and he's going to lift the first silverware of the season here.
And there he is, he's just raised it. We can hear the cheers. Joe's there at Hampden. Joe Henry.
Hi Paul, yes, Celtic jubilant around the stadium, as I'm sure you can see every single fan on their feet as the Hibs team trundle off. Ange Postecoglou hosting that trophy in the air for the very first time. A very, very happy moment for the Australian, and as well for the first time since 2019 Celtic have their hands on the League Cup. So a fantastic day here if you're a Celtic fan, not so much if you're a Hibs fan, but they did themselves absolutely no harm today. Hibs were fantastic, fought to the very end. You mentioned that Joe Hart having to make that crucial stop. There wasn't too much in it at all. But Celtic are the team that are going home happiest this evening.
0808 17 17 700. You can speak to Davy Provan and Craig Moore, who've tasted success in cup finals here at Hampden. 0808 17 17 700. The Go Radio Football Show. The Super Saturday edition comes 2 weeks today, but it's super if you're a Celtic fan, because they've taken the first silverware of the season this afternoon. They're against Hibs. Hibs, who came, Celtic were the favourites, dominated most of the first half but couldn't score, and then the pendulum swung the other way as Hibs took the lead in 51 minutes. Paul Hanlon, but a goal less than 60 seconds later from Kyogo made it 1-1, and it was Kyogo 20 minutes later. Moment of genius, Tom Rogic, who played it through to him so quickly, caught Hibs off guard, and there he was, as we see the manager taking the trophy to the Celtic fans.
Yeah, great sight, the Ange Postecoglou. And you know, if you think of how difficult the start he was offered at the club, you know, to win the first piece of silver was nothing short of remarkable. And I'm sure whatever happens to his career in Scotland, however many trophies he wins, this will be one that he remembers. This is the first, and the first is very often the sweetest.
You always remember the first, you know, and he's made an impact straight away. Closed the gap, in my opinion. It was a bit of a blowout last season, but he'd be absolutely delighted. Yes, he's made that connection with the supporter base of Celtic Football Club as well. But you can even see there, Davey, he comes out and he lifts a cup in appreciation to the supporters, but then he's let the players get on with it. Let them enjoy their moment.
Yeah, very modest, very self-effacing. That's his style. And also he'll be hoping this kickstarts a real title charge in the second half of the season. It's now down to the board. I'm sure he'll have identified players he wants to bring in. It's up to the board of directors to deliver those players and let them get on with the job.
And David, there was a nice touch there. I noticed they were wearing masks outside. They weren't allowed to present it to the players, but Lisbon Lion Jim Craig was there in the lineup. I saw Jim there, and that was good. He spoke so movingly at Bertiold's funeral last month. So as the Celtic players go over to one section of the crowd there to enjoy the moment, because David, they're over too quick, I would imagine, these special moments.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you've got to lap up and savour every moment, because you never know. You know, it could be a last final. You don't know what the future holds. Always a great day at Hampden to be lifting whether it's a League Cup or the Scottish Cup and doing your lap of honour. It's great stuff.
You know, it is fantastic. And normally, like I said, you normally have a good night, but in terms of going and having a function and celebration. But now with the times that we're in, it's probably a little bit more complex. But you have to enjoy that moment. But again, there's a league game now, Wednesday.
Yes.
Just around
Paisley.
the corner, and it's back to business. So,
Yeah.
when do you really get that time to enjoy it properly?
Mind you, I was actually going to say earlier on, if it goes to extra time, okay, and if you win it, it's not so bad, but it does take a toll on your legs.
Yeah.
But imagine if you had lost today and you're going to, well, Paisley's just round the corner. For Hibs, they're at home to Aberdeen. They've got a huge game. They're under new management probably by then, if the Sean Maloney deal is finally, along with Gary Caldwell, revealed. So, it's relentless. Midweek, St Johnstone, Ross County as well. Another quick break as the celebrations continue.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go!
The Celtic fans stay to a man, a woman, a boy and a girl to celebrate this. They've won the Cup this afternoon, the League Cup. Comes back to Glasgow. It comes to the East End and at Hampden Park. Ange Postecoglou is still out there with his players, but he's walked away from them to allow them to milk this, to enjoy it. And my goodness, Davy Provan, they're enjoying this 2-1 win over Hibs.
Well, if you think of the criticism that some of these players got last season, and maybe with some justification, this is the beginning. Ange Postecoglou would certainly hope of a renaissance for the club. I go back to what I said, though. He needs help. This Celtic squad, you only have to look at their bench today to realise that the squad is still thin. They've done well to win the first trophy of the season. They've got to go and get 3 or 4 really good players into the dressing room, I think, to allow Postecoglou to kick on from here.
And I have to agree, because as a greater moment it is today in terms of going on to win more trophies, needs to make improvements to that squad, because I still feel as if over the course of a season it needs to be deeper. So he now has a great opportunity, I guess, to go to his board, to go to his football club to say, listen, this is what I want, this is what we need in January. But great start, and he's going to make huge improvements from that. It's just a beginning. So Rangers will definitely have their challenges in terms of this Ange Postecoglou side chasing them down. But I still think at this moment in time, Paul, I still think that the depth in the Rangers squad, depending come end of January what Celtic do, is too strong at this moment in time for the league.
It's probably going to go all the way, isn't it? But you're right, January will be huge. Absolutely huge. And if Celtic can stay in touch with them, then who knows what. But it would have to be, to win the title this season with what he inherited would be, it's almost impossible. It's not at the moment, Davy, but to win that first trophy of the season could be massive.
I think they've got to go and get another proper striker in case Kyogo was to get injured. He needs help up front. They certainly need a centre back. Starfelt for me is not up to it. If they get a proper centre forward, a proper centre back in as well, and maybe another number 10 type, I don't think we'll be far away.
It's interesting, like I says, with the striker one, you definitely need something else in terms of Kyogo's a wonderful talent, great goal scorer. But if he's not playing, who's going to replace those goals? You need somebody. Giacomakis has struggled, although there was a decent spend on Giacomakis. What was it? What did they spend? Maybe 4.5 million.
Yeah.
So again, you have a striker there, but you need another one.
He's not looked apart, Craig.
He's not, because he struggled with injury. He didn't come in fit at the beginning, Davey, so he didn't give himself maybe the best of opportunities. But that depth is needed. Central defence, it depends what they're going to do with Carter Vickers moving forward.
Yeah.
Julian, when he comes back, how he comes back, he's probably had a little mishap in terms of his recovery. So it'd be interesting to see exactly what Celtic do. But what I will say is there'll be 2 or 3 players coming in January for sure.
I think it's a bit less than that. Was he not about 2.5 million, 3 million?
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
But
I was just checking.
Hey, still a lot of money for in Scottish football. Liverpool have equalised, and it's Diego Jota, who's on fire for them.
Is he not? He's leading goal scorer, I think, for Liverpool as well. Him and Mo Salah, they just take it in turns, goal for goal.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah. There's John Hartson on the telly there. The big man will be happy, won't he, Craig? Yeah. He'll be
happy.
We had him singing Flower of Scotland on Tuesday night here on the programme, and then the Welsh anthem. It was the 12-inch version that went on and on. David it was great. He was in brilliant form, and he was looking forward to Cup final today. There's Ali as well. How's Ali? And Chris Sutton along with Darryl there. It's the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre, Paul Cooney, Craig Moore Davy Provan. The guys have brought their medals today, so that's the winners' medals are there. A little bit different in COVID times, how it's
Presentation.
isn't it? But listen, they'll be recording it, they'll be playing it back and remembering it. Ange Postecoglou blowing a kiss to the crowd. Not to yourself, I don't think. There,
Maybe his wife's
possibly,
in the
yeah,
stand as
and
well.
that'll be special.
Yeah,
for the
again,
family there.
look,
Yeah,
he's a determined, passionate character, and he wants to win trophies. So
He'll be on the case tomorrow morning saying that's gone now. St Mirren, get your mind on St Mirren.
Have to. You have
You
to.
know, the league is so important this season. He'll let them enjoy it tonight. I'm sure first thing tomorrow morning, he'll be reminding them huge game coming up against St Mirren.
Okay, just catching up with the breaks and then we're back.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Don't miss out on huge savings on your new taxi. Available exclusively to the taxi trade.
Let's go!
Celtic have won the Scottish League Cup this afternoon at Hampden. Joe's gone downstairs for some interviews. We hope to bring you Ange Postecoglou before 6. And if you're on the way home, you could give us a call 0808 17 17 700. Or if you're watching and listening at home, give us a call 0808 17 17 700. We're on the socials as well at Go Football Show. Davy Provan, former Celtic star, Rangers ex Craig Moore, and Paul Cooney here, just looking at the pictures and looking at the messages coming in on the socials. Patrick and Kathleen are tuned in and enjoying it, along with the pictures this afternoon. Just there's loads of messages coming in. Some people earlier on were saying about the Celtic injury when Turnbull went off, and they were very critical of the manager. But that'll take time to tell. But David Turnbull did go off, looked like a recurring injury with the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looked as if it was his left hamstring.
Hamstring.
He's just played a ball wide for Greg Taylor, and he's pulled up right away. And you saw his left hand go right onto the back of his left thigh. So, if it's a hamstring, that's I mean, if it's a proper tear, that's I don't know, between 4 and 6 weeks.
Yep. And you could see even obviously when he was going up to receive or to pick his medal up at the end, he
Still
was
struggling.
He was limping. So it's not a little nick or a little strain. For me, that's a 4 to 6 week.
The good thing is that McGregor could play that position as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw him playing further forward. That is the brilliant thing about Callum McGregor. You know, any of the 3 midfield positions, he can play them all.
Yeah, and again, you talk about the importance of a squad, Davey, and maybe Neil Beton hasn't been the number one man in terms of his involvement as such, but he's going to be really, really important now, because he might be that one that screens the back four, that allows Callum McGregor to play further forward. So that's, again, the squad that you need.
I just think, go back to the bench today at a time in the game where Celtic, Postecoglou, he must have been thinking, what can I do to change this? Mm-hmm. If you look at his bench, and I see where you're coming from, you reckon Rangers are strong and the squad is too strong for Celtic, and I do agree with you. And that's why the next transfer window, and I know January is not the ideal time to buy players, but Celtic desperately need to get 2 or 3 in.
Yeah.
And not 2 or 3 just to bolster the squad numbers. Yeah. 2 or 3 who can go straight into the team and improve it.
Well, that's when it has to be. It has to be the Asian market.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're talking European market, you're talking players that haven't been playing, that are not going to be up to speed, right? Whereas the Asian market, especially Japan, season's just finished.
Yeah.
So therefore, maybe after 2 weeks break, they can freshen up and be ready to go again. That's the market.
And Hatate's probably coming, isn't he? There's a couple of players. The deals seem to be fairly far down the line, but you can only take so many from the Asian market. Because what happens if they're always, if they're flying over for international games, which inevitably they are?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's travel definitely takes it out of you, and you certainly don't want to overload, I guess, on one particular region. But if it's only a couple of players that he's looking for in the window, you know that those players are fit and ready to go, and more importantly, Ange will know exactly all those players, their qualities.
From the team, Starfelt definitely is not good enough, is he? Craig Moore. I mean, well, I can ask Davey, but we know Davey said it consistently from the start. So, would you make a change for Wednesday against St Mirren? Would you bring in Stephen Welsh? Or, of course, they started tonight, without Ralston.
Yeah, they did start without Ralston, and obviously, Welsh started off the season very, very well and was harshly left out, I think, in a lot of people's opinions, my own also included. Mm-hmm. But Ange is just thinking about, and everybody at Celtic, I'm sure, just thinking about, how can we win this football game? all right, and put out the best possible players to go out and get that result. And then it's the next game. And then it's the next game. I know that's boring for a lot of people to hear, but it's one game at a time.
I'd play Beaton instead of Starfelt.
As a centre-half?
Yeah.
In a flat
Yeah,
back?
I know he plays in a back three for Israel, and he a lot of the time he's spare, but I just think Starfelt is he's not up to it. Yeah. He's not up to it, and sometimes you've got to be truthful in this job, and you've got to be hard on players, and I just haven't seen anything in Starfelt to suggest he's a proper Celtic centre back. And I think Beaton, even though his best position is probably as a screen in front, I still think I'd have him in at left centre back.
David, you'd have wanted Starfelt to do well. There's no part of you who doesn't want him to do well.
Absolutely. You've got to. A new player comes into the club and you've got to assess him. And I did say early on, look, maybe this boy will improve. He's off to a really shaky start. He doesn't look the part, but maybe he will get better and he'll bed into the club. Today was hugely important game, and he was all over the place.
You gave Hibs 6.5 out of 10. What would you give Celtic today?
Probably 7.5. I don't think Celtic were at their best, but they found an answer, and the answer is Kyogo. What a player! And by the way, see some of the scenes after the game where he was over. There was a Japanese flag in the crowd. He went over to embrace the crowd. He's always got a smile on his face. He's more than a top footballer. He's a top personality as well.
And he's so respectful to the crowd, isn't he? It's partly the culture of the Japanese. He bows to them.
He's brilliant. And if Postecoglou has another 2 or 3 of that type up his sleeve in the window, Rangers might not get it all their own way.
No, it's very, very valid. And he wants players at that football club that want to be there. Kyogo, take the goals out of it. He looks as if he's really enjoying his time at the football club. Jota, before he picked up his injury, they really seem happy. So the atmosphere and the environment that he's created is a good one. It most definitely will be competitive. In regards to the central defensive side of things, Davey, my concerns with Beaton in a flat back four is that he's going to make too many mistakes, especially the way that Celtic play with their fullbacks away a lot of the time. That forces him into areas with silly yellow cards, potential sending-offs. I think he's a liability in that position in a flat back four.
For Celtic this afternoon, looking at the team, what about, for example, Juranovic? He has been, how important a signing has he been for the manager, Craig?
Brilliant. This is a player that can play at the highest level. International player, great flexibility, seems like a really good professional.
Doesn't panic, does he?
He does not panic. We've seen that he's, what is it, Panenka? Is that what you call it? The penalty and all that. He's got great character and settled in to the football club immediately.
He'll do you, Davey? Yeah,
terrific. But what he's given Tony Ralston a problem. It's a bit like Tavernier Patterson at Ibrox, isn't it? 2 into 1 doesn't go. I think Juranovic has to play as a right back, and that's bad news for Tony Ralston. Until Tony Ralston, and whether he can or not remains to be seen, but until he proves he's a better player than Juranovic, I think Tony Ralston is going to struggle to get games.
And look, and that's a tough one because, again, every player wants to play and be involved. And as Davey touched on, it's the same situation at Rangers with Tavernier and Patterson. But at the same time, the coach would love to have 2 players of that quality in every single position. Players, maybe not so much like that.
That's understandable. And some of the fans won't like it either because Tony Ralston, they have taken him to their hearts because when things were so tough at the start of the season, he was there and he was the standout at the back for Celtic. What about Leila Bada, Davey, in a position that you know well? How did he do? Was he 6 or 7?
He did okay. I mean, he started as if he was going to be man of the match. He was going past Lewis Stevenson for fun early in the match, just too quick for him and getting some very decent crosses into the box. His final ball, I think, could be better. I don't know if is he 21 now? I don't know if you develop a final ball at that age. He should have it by now. It's a wee bit of a worry for me. But he's got a lot going for him to play in that position. He's very quick. He's quick enough to get down the outside, make a good angle. Showed early in the game today that he can deliver well, but he's got to deliver more consistently for me. Better quality of ball into the box.
He went past Stevenson like a rocket, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's very, very quick.
You know what the good thing was also? Because Stevenson catches him early doors with a decent challenge and maybe lucky to escape the yellow card. Yeah. And normally at times, certain wingers can disappear after that, especially at the beginning. They don't like that contact. Tell you what, it didn't fuss him not one bit. He got up, he got on with it. He still then got after his fullback, had a lot of success early doors. In terms of the quality and all that sort of stuff, Davey, I get, and that will improve in terms of whether it's on the ground, whether it needs to be in the air, all those kind of things. That's decision making as well for me. And I think that he's still young enough to improve on that.
Just going over the cup final where Celtic take the glory this afternoon. Just looking there at the pitch, it's taken a bit of a doing. They're dismantling it already. That's the first trophy of the season, so 3 majors to go. So could someone win a treble? Celtic could.
Yes.
We're discussing here
Yes.
the league. Rangers are 7 points clear. Celtic with a game in hand, so it's 4 if we look at it that way. Or Craig, you going to come in?
No, I'm just thinking, like, again, for me, the most important thing in terms of the league, points on the board.
Yep.
Games in hand. We've seen what
last season.
We've seen what games in hand done last season. So Rangers are in a very, very strong position, and at the moment Celtic have still got work to do. Still got to continue to chase, and that's up to them to keep providing that.
And it shows you, I wasn't for a second saying somebody is going to win a treble. It's just that's one of them done now. 2 of the 3 is gone. It's there.
And they're still in the league. I mean,
it's possible.
7 points with a game in hand. If Celtic can reduce that gap to 4 points going into the Old Firm game, which is a very winnable game for Celtic, and maybe even more so if they do a bit of business in the market, it's game on again.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go! So Celtic enjoying winning the Cup, the first trophy of the season. The Premier Sports Cup will be going to Celtic Park shortly, but the celebrations continue at the National Stadium. 2-1 against Hibs this afternoon. A double from Kyogo after Hanlon put Hibs ahead early in the second half. Let's go on the line live to Hampden, and we've seen him all afternoon on and off. They've been going to we've seen the picture of Bertie Auld there, and just alongside Lord Willie Hockey. Willie, good afternoon. Congratulations.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon.
Did you know you were on the telly about 4 times? They kept flashing over to the box there with that great.
I didn't actually. I got my hair done.
Funny, that's what Craig Muir was saying, and Davy Prov and I are saying nothing. Willie, what an atmosphere at the. I mean, that could have gone either way for a while. Half time, the guys were saying, "Yeah, Celtic had dominated, but no penetration," until they went that goal down.
Yeah, very tight game. Hibs played well, but 2 pieces of magic. I mean, the vision of Tom Rogic for the pass to Kyogo was amazing.
Well, it was phenomenal, wasn't he? The vision of Tom Rogic, Davey.
Well, getting the ball down quickly, but the first touch of Kyogo as well. I mean, the first goal is as good a 2-touch finish as you'll see. That was with the left foot. The second one touch finish with the right foot. The little fellow Kyogo, Willie, and you'll have seen a few good Celtic strikers over the years. This little fella is something very special, is he not?
Oh, David, as soon as he lobbed the ball, everybody around about me, everybody went, Henrik!
he went all right. He went all right as well, Willie, yeah? Henrik, he went all right as well. How strong a position? Okay. Sorry, how strong a position does that put Ange Postecoglou in now? First piece of silverware, transfer window just around the corner. How strong a position is he in now at this football club?
Oh, I think now that, this is a great start for him. The first trophy's played for and he's won it. It takes a lot of pressure off. I think he's done well. I think the injuries in the last couple of weeks have been horrendous. So to get the guys, up for it today, I thought was great. But and I've seen how much it meant to him at the end. He seems to have kind of fell in love with the club very quickly. So, hopefully it looks good for him for the future.
Because obviously they've had a tough time, very tough season last year. It's been tough with the board, but he is so popular. And Kyogo as well. You just see him, Willie, at the end going over, getting the Celtic scarves and the Japanese flag.
Yes, yeah, amazing. No, the new guys who have come in, they've taken to the club. They've learned a bit about the history, and they seem to have been, they know what it's all about. The fans obviously have given them a tremendous backing. So it looks as if everybody's who's come in new at the start of the season have fell in love with the club and they know what it's all about.
And give us a Go Radio exclusive. Where is the celebration tonight? Is it Citation in Glasgow?
No, I don't think so. I think it maybe in the house with a couple of glass of wine.
Lord Willie, thanks a million for joining us. The business show, you'll be back after Christmas.
Yes, Yeah, good. I'm happy for a break, and so's Tom.
He's thinking, I can't get away.
Guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Willie.
you.
All
Cheers,
the best.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, yeah, we saw them a few times there because Bertie had gone to the box in recent years and many times, and he loved to take adulation because it was about entertainment. And we're talking about an entertainer, Kyogo Furuhashi.
Yeah, we Bertie would love Kyogo. I mean, the whole Celtic support's in love with this little guy, but you can't rely so heavily on just one player, and that's why they need reinforcements. Celtic, they've got to get one or two in, at least one or two.
Craig's question was a good one, wasn't it? And you mentioned it earlier, giving him as leverage now for the manager to say to the board, come on.
Especially if he's identified. I mean, if he's gone to the board and he's given them a list of 3 or 4 players, I would suggest they're under major pressure to deliver, to bring those players in.
And look, if you've got a good network, Davey, as well, you don't necessarily have to go out and splash your 5, 6, 7 millions, right? I know that Jota has that clause. You can do loan deals.
Yeah.
You can do loan deals and still really, really strengthen up, because that investment might not want to be now, because the benefit is next season if you win the league. So loan deals might be the way forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about 2 or 3 Japanese players. The J League finished 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So by the time our window opens, they're going to be a bit rusty, are they not? There was talk about them going straight into the Old Firm game, maybe.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no, they would. No, for me, in my opinion,
all right?
no, they're not coming straight into the Old Firm game.
Right.
No. I didn't actually, but I didn't believe that. I don't think there'd be any way 3 new players would be thrown in. But it was mentioned, Davey, you're absolutely right.
No,
it was there.
I'm not saying he would throw 3 in, Paul, but he might throw 1 in.
Yeah.
If needs be.
Yeah, 3 weeks without a game for me is a big ask especially into.
That's what I'm
Rangers
saying.
Celtic
Fitness wise, yeah.
But you're right. That was it was there in the media. They were saying, well, there could be 3 new players in by January the 2nd, but there's no way 3 of them would play. It's going to be someday, isn't it?
The way that the league's going this season, it's very interesting. You talk about Rangers Celtic all the time, but there's been some good performances. Motherwell are having a great season. But Judgment Day should be a fantastic way just to finish off the first part of the season.
I don't know whether you found this, Craig, but certainly after winning a cup final, the next league game was always really difficult because it's after the Lord Mayor's show sort of thing. You've been as high as a kite, and I'm no disrespect to St Mirren, but maybe Paisley's not one of the more glamorous venues you'd want to go to in terms of keeping that feeling. And this is where Celtic don't want to trip. They don't want to trip up in midweek. They've got to keep the pressure on.
You got to roll the sleeves up, because you know what you're up against. You've got a team that whoever you're playing against want to knock you off. They want to enjoy that one day, and they give it their absolute all and tend to suffer weeks after. Now it's on Celtic to back up from the success of a cup final to show the first minute that they're right up for that next game.
Just looking at Premier Sports there, Craig, and it shows you how quickly life changes, football changes. They're doing a promo for the Scottish Cup, but it was showing you action from last year, where the season started with Celtic with Scott Brown as the captain of the defending champions and all the rest of it. And you see Rangers, the champions at the end there, and in the cups, Celtic winning the cup, and then St Johnstone. And it's St Johnstone I'm thinking about, anchored at the bottom of the table, and how it changes so quickly. And then such a terrible season for Celtic, then no manager, Neil Lennon away. Took them ages to sort. Eddie Howe was maybe coming. He's been drubbed this afternoon. Well, his team, Newcastle by Man City. And maybe that's why he's there, because he's good at getting them out of the Championship. So, but in football, anything can happen.
It can, and without being disrespectful to Callum Davidson, you can go from champ to chump very, very quickly. Like in terms of the successes of last season, and then all of a sudden you find yourself bottom of the table. Maybe certain things going against you. Kane's going to be a huge miss for them. Football can change so quickly. It really can.
And they did. You're right. They lost 2 players just at the end, McCann and Kerr.
Yes.
Just at the end of the window, and everyone said, people locally were saying, no, they'll be okay. They're not okay. That was their 2 of their best players. Alan McCann, the outstanding talent, and I think they paid for it. If I was Callum Davidson, I'd be feeling a bit sore.
Callum had to get away, Paul. Callum Davidson had to get a job, and the time for him to get the job was the end of last season. That's his star will never be more in the ascendancy than it was at that time.
What have you done? What have you done in the game? And he'd be saying, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he wins the almost impossible to win both cups up here in Scotland with the Old Firm around, and he did that. But In the longer term, does St Johnstone have the budget? Do they have the ambition to satisfy Callum Davidson? Not sure they do.
No, and yeah, to be really competitive and a competitive top six, which is obviously where they would like to be, they've got to go and spend money in January as well. They've had some money that's come into the football club. He needs players.
Our main attention will be at the other end of the table because so Rangers get midweek off, haven't they? Yeah, or Rangers will check every game. The next Rangers game, Stuart will tell me in a moment or two, because they did the business yesterday, albeit not their best performance. But listen, nobody will be talking at the end of the season about that day in December when Rangers were not at their best, but they got the win against Dundee United, and so 7 points clear as we head towards Christmas, but still more games to play. For Rangers, Craig, what's in your mind for January? I mean, Kent's been playing really well. Stephen Gerrard's gone to Aston Villa. People talked about Kamara. Goldson hasn't signed. I think Golden's going to go. Is it not? Is it not time for Goldson to?
Well, look, at the end of the day, he hasn't re-signed. Don't know all the intimate details, but it looks as if he may run his contract down and then see what's available. If that was the case, then you would think that he'd probably be leaving the club at the end of the season. So that'll be an area that the club would look to. There's got to be a deadline. You've got to say, right, enough's enough. We've tried to do it. It's not happening. We move on. But I think overall, look, Aribo, great talent. Great talent. I think Giovanni coming in has probably given the club some fresh air. It's a clean slate for players. That Stephen Gerrard's obviously gone on and hit the ground running at Aston Villa, which is positive also for him. Giovanni's made some slight tinkers to the system. The system, no, Davey, but just in terms of wingers are actually wingers again, which you would have loved, and fullbacks are fullbacks again.
Do you think it'll have been made promises during the negotiations, Giovanni? Do you think he will have said to the board, well, I'll take the job on the condition that I get A, B and C?
In terms of players, you mean?
So much money to spend in the market?
Look, I think that Rangers are actually in a really, really good place in terms of the squad, right? So if they lose a player from 1 to 15, 1 to 14, 1 to 15, and what I mean, the main subs that are coming on to impact the game plus starting 11, if they lose any of those players in the window, they'll replace them. I have no doubt about that. So that would be all that Giovanni would want to know. If I'm going to lose a player, am I going to be able to replace that player? I think he will be able to.
Who are the most likely to lose? Morelos?
Every window we're talking about Morelos.
Who's in for him this time?
He said it himself, he wants to play in a bigger league. So the speculation is down to him.
It's always there. It's always there. And sometimes that speculation is not fantastic. That's why I actually felt that for Stephen Gerrard and for the club, it was great that business was done and away they went, because of speculation every window. Stephen Gerrard's going to end up at Liverpool. Stephen Gerrard's like, speculation's not great at a football club either. When you keep hearing the same, it can weigh you down at a football club.
Yep. Alex is on the socials. He's saying he picked this up in the Sunday Times today. Mirror image. Wim Janssen and Ange Postecoglou both arrived at Celtic from Japan. Started at first, then reached the League Cup final, at which they won. They've now won, obviously Celtic have. And they trailed Rangers by 4 points going into a New Year derby.
Wim.
It's 7 at the moment, but the Vimster, Davy Wim Janssen, came.
I remember it well.
No great expectations.
We wanted him sacked, lost his first 2 league games to Hibs and Dunfermline. Some of the supporters wanted him out. And
Day 1 of the league, that's right.
Yeah. And won the League Cup, beat Dundee United 3-0 at Ibrox League Cup final, if I remember correctly.
Well done.
And then remarkably went on to win it memorable final day against St Johnstone 2-0.
As Rangers could have won it as well if they had slipped
they
up.
were
Then Rangers at
Tannadice,
Tannadice. I remember
it?
I was covering it there. Yep. So
Better memory than me, guys.
good memory, yeah. Big Derek and I were up there.
But I do remember
Davey
Wim
was at
Janssen.
Celtic Park. Yeah.
So who was he? Who was Wim Janssen's main signings back then?
Henrik Larsson.
Henrik Larsson. That was his
Henrik
first
Larsson
game.
Glass was the
Feyenoord for 600,000.
It was great business.
Yeah.
Great business.
And Joe Venglos that brought Moravcik in, wasn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah, but they were
they
such
were
a double
arguably
act.
two fabulous signings.
Who signed Big Pierre?
Pierre Van Hooijdonk.
Tommy
Tommy
Burns.
Burns.
Tommy
Yeah.
Burns.
Yeah.
What a player he was as well.
I remember interviewing him on the pitch. I told a couple of weeks ago, and it was Aberdeen Celtic, and behind the goals. I'm interviewing him, and it goes back to the studio, and Jim White says, "I'll tell you, a bit of a height difference there between Paul and Pierre." And good on Alec McLeish, who was the sort of summariser. Said, to be fair to Paul, he didn't have the studs on. Pierre had the big studs. He was a good player, wasn't he? Dutch international. Yeah.
What about free kicks? He went on an incredible run in terms of, I think it was
he scored
Europe,
two in the European Cup. Was it the UEFA Cup final?
I think it was UEFA. Yeah, he scored a lot of goals, a lot of free kicks. He was a good player.
Scored in his debut. Celtic were playing that season at Hampden because Celtic Park was being rebuilt, and he scored in his debut, I think against Hearts, from about 30 yards, smashed one into the top corner, and the supporters just took to him immediately. What a good player he was.
Listen, Glasgow is looking forward to this chase going a long, long way. Celtic have taken the first trophy of the season. They're up against Rangers, the champions, 2 weeks today. James has been on. James, thanks for listening. Citation is closed at the moment, so don't go round to Citation. It's not opened. James Mortimer just telling me. And loads of people just calling in. People delighted that it stays. I say it stays in Glasgow. It's coming back to Glasgow from Perth. Although what a season it was for Callum Davidson. We're just looking specifically at Celtic and to Rangers too, with the game just 2 weeks away. Rangers' next game is Boxing Day against St Mirren at Ibrox. So, but Davy, your point. So Celtic, it could be tough. Well, nothing's going to be easy. There's St Mirren on Wednesday, and St Mirren, to find it hard to win. But
you could argue that the St Mirren game's every bit as important as today's game. I know it's a cup final today, but the 3 points in midweek against St Mirren are at least equally important for me. Celtic can't afford to go into the Old Firm game any more than 4 points adrift.
And they've got a tough schedule here. St Mirren, St Johnstone, Hibs again, and then rolling into the Rangers match. So it's a tough schedule. And how they bounce back from this match is very, very important. Obviously, Turnbull will be a miss because he's going to be a longer-term injury by the looks of that. Look at a real test, but at the same time, I think we've got a really exciting finish to the first part of the season. You know, leading into Judgment Day, and then 2 or 3 week break. There is,
sure.
and then it's back for the Scottish Cup.
You would have been heading for some sunshine, but just with the COVID and all that,
I don't
who
need
knows?
it,
Maybe
mate.
we will.
I don't need the sunshine.
No, I know you had
You
enough
know
of
what,
it.
you were on Bondi right now, no?
Nah. I don't like the sun. Too hot for me. Bare skin, burn, freckles.
Celtic take the trophy this afternoon, and just looking at the Celtic lineup, what can you say about your fellow countryman Tom Rogic that we haven't said before? I mean, he's arguably Celtic's. Well, there's Kyogo and there's McGregor. Take them out.
Yeah.
The best of the three of them, and Jota, I know, who's injured. So, well, there's 4 players that are on fire.
Yeah.
Tom Rogic.
Look, he's a fantastic player. Tommy, and his 250th match. I believe today. That's incredible.
That was a surprise when I heard that. 250 games he's played.
He's a big time player. He's very elegant, but at the same time, there's an intelligence, and he's a very smart player. I mean, the second goal, while Hibs are trying to get organised, he's already ball down, great ball. So this is a top player. Yeah. This is a top player at the top of his game at this moment in time for Celtic.
He's switched on, isn't he? Yeah, Willie's saying that at the game. He's on it.
Quick in his head, and the goal, the way he put the ball down and played it quickly is a great example of his awareness of movement ahead of him. And he must be, if you're Kyogo, Tom Rogic, it must be a dream to play with, because you know if you make the run, he will have spotted the run and he'll be trying to find you.
For Celtic, you'd be looking to see how they'll change it for Wednesday night with St Mirren. We've got Hibs Aberdeen as well, so Hibs have got to, I mean, that's a whole other story we'll talk about in a moment or two. Probably new management by then. Although I agree with Davey, what's that all about then? You're paying a lot of money for really good people to come in. Why wouldn't you affect that change right away? You can't tell me that team must have been, I mean, they were at that stadium 3 weeks ago.
Yep. The
manager's gone, the gaffer's gone, the person they see every day, he's gone. And you haven't put someone in yet. So do you think that affected them this afternoon?
Look, they give themselves still a really, really good opportunity. Should have their business been done quicker? Should they be more organised if you're going to sack a manager? 100%. For me, that would then suggest that decision was probably a little bit emotional rather than strategic and planned out, because you should have somebody in place, And for me, that's what it kind of smells of. For me, is a decision was made. It was emotional, And in the end, planning and all those kind of things has taken a lot longer. New manager, yeah, why not? Should have been in place, and it would have been better for the club at least to know exactly what the lie of the land is moving forward.
I don't know how good David Gray is in terms of what he can do in the training ground, how good a coach he is, but he would not have the same authority today that Jack Ross or Sean Maloney would have had. If Sean Maloney is the guy, get him in earlier this week. Get him in earlier this week, and allow the players to hear the new voice of authority. David Gray, I think, was in a really awkward position today, taking the team, Jack Ross's team, into that final today.
Because they play Aberdeen and they could go top 6. So Hibs are on 23 points, the Dons on 24. Ifs, buts and maybes, Davy. But yeah, Sean Maloney could have been in the dugout today, and if they'd won, which could have happened, and then you'd go into that game and it could take them top 6.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's about like GVB and the semi-final. Another one I didn't understand, that he was sitting up in the posh seats where Rangers were 3-0 down at half-time and didn't want to get involved.
But it's worked out though, isn't it? 8 consecutive wins for Rangers, 7 points clear at the midway stage. So and Rangers get a bit of a breather this week, Craig. Although, I mean, you'd want to be involved in the cup final. It's not the case.
No.
It was Celtic's day. So just a couple of minutes remaining. Craig, what a day for Celtic and the Celtic fans. And yeah, they're moments that you'll never forget, winning the cup. What was your first win then? You were telling us at the start of the show. We took you back. That was the Hearts one. It was. That was your first. It was.
It was
Neil
my
McCann.
first. Yeah. It was. Look, it was a great afternoon. It was an entertaining game. It was a seven goal thriller. But I remember starting midfield and then getting shifted out to the dreaded right full-back position, which I hated.
Why?
Because I wasn't great at it.
You just getting dragged here, there, and everywhere.
I just think, I mean, I was a central defender, and you're playing out in an area where you're isolated a lot, and I was learning the game.
So how will you remember this cup final today for your fellow countryman Ange Postecoglou? You've given us a lot of insight since he arrived. What will you remember today?
I'll remember, in terms of Ange's time in Scotland, his first trophy. I kind of know this day, and it was a big moment for him, and he's got huge support in Australia. I'm delighted that he's won a cup. I'll be delighted that hopefully Rangers can go and win the league. That goes without saying, because that's the team that I support. But they're in a good position. Look, he's turned what was, as you said, a shambles of a football club. Right, he's turned it around very, very quickly.
Davey, I think one of the memories of the day has just flashed up on Premier Sports. That second goal.
Yeah, it's a terrific touch from Kyogo, but he's made the run. He's onside, but if he doesn't get the ball early, he's offside. And he got the ball early because Tom Rogic could see the movement, could see the pass, and not only could see it, but he could deliver it as well. And he just provides those moments of class. And it's when he does things like that, you wonder, you think, why are you not playing in the English Premier League at the very highest level?
He's not quick enough.
Mm-hmm. Davey, you're not sure.
No, he always seems to have time though. I mean,
he's so quick thinking. Listen, that's going to have to be for another day, but the conversation continues. Tomorrow night at 5, Barry Ferguson will be here, Mark Guidi and myself. Craig, enjoy it. Will you have a few tinnies tonight? Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. Get a good rest tonight. Ready to go again tomorrow.
Thanks, Craig, for joining us.
Davey, I'll be having a couple of tinnies tonight.
A couple of tinnies, yeah.
Yes. I'll be having a couple of tinnies.
It's Celtic's day today, so the cup will be on its way
back
now, won't it?
Well done, Ange. Great job he's done. Terrific job.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to Stuart for looking after us. Thanks to everyone who's been on the socials and for all the messages this afternoon. Thanks to Lord Willie for joining us there from the Bertie Old Box there at Hampden Park. Yep, Celtic win the first trophy of the season. The title race continues tomorrow night at 5.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Don't miss out on huge savings on your new taxi. Available exclusively to the taxi trade.
Let's go!
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.